See good? You
She's
alive?
hot.
I
She's
mean,
hot.
what do you
She's
want from me,
alive.
man? You want me to be
I want
like,
the truth.
oh my God, Cyberpunk is just the best
There
game
we go.
ever.
I want you to sound like Pinocchio in that trailer.
Oh no!
Have you
Man,
seen that
I don't
soul?
understand that. I don't understand that reference,
No,
man.
he sounds like he's like, oh, I
He
want to
sounds-
go into the world and
Yeah.
like go explore. And I'm
Yeah, that's
like,
what you guys want from me.
It'll bring a little life to the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
And man, we lying to the people if we do that.
Hi, welcome to the DualShock Sense Podcast.
And speaking of that, well, why didn't your dumb little brain you think of to ask Nolan North to record an intro for our podcast, man?
Bro, listen, I was like, I had like low charge. I was like, okay, I didn't know what to expect. I decided on Nolan North thing like last minute. I found out he was gonna show up the day prior to the tour, and when I show up, I'm like not even thinking about like anything else but like I need to like not be a dumbass or like not stutter and not like
And I say this in a loving way, but let's be honest, man, that's really hard for you to do.
Here's the thing. To that point, when I met Carolina Ravassa and Anjali Bhimani, the voices of Symmetra and Sombra, I was like, oh, I really like, and I was trying to say her Anglo-Saxon like YouTube channel.
Wait,
Hispano-Saxon.
Cassandra was there. Her name was for.
Carolina Ravassa. So she's like Sombra's voice from Overwatch.
Oh man! I wish you told me that. I would have flown to the Florida.
No, but that was like in Puerto Rico Comic Con a few years ago. So to that point of like being a dumbass, I was like stuttering when I was talking to her, and when I left, I dropped my phone, and I was like, oh shit, I'm being a complete dum-dum. So like when that Emily fucking Rose was on the side, I didn't know she was gonna be there. I looked to the side, I'm like, I know that voice, and I see her, and I'm like, oh, are you fucking kidding me? Elena's here, and then I'm like, okay, Walter, don't fucking stutter, don't be a dumbass. Like you're gonna ask him for a selfie, and whatever, and he took him pictures. He did like a bunch of crazy ones on my phone, and then I took one with him and Emily Rose together. Dude, the chemistry between them is insane. It's like they're a couple, like in real life. It's crazy.
Oh man!
Dude, seeing it in action, because they were like bouncing off each other and jokes and all this, and I'm like, am I watching like a scene from Uncharted? You know, when they're like just in the house and they're like gonna play Crash and they're just banter. Oh man, it was amazing. It was amazing. Carrie Payton was there from Walking Dead. Norman Reedus, John Berthel, and fucking Sebastian Stan were gonna be there, but they all canceled, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, what the hell happened there? Jeez, that would have been awesome to see them too.
That was like the whole point, like initially of the tour. Like a friend, she was like, "Oh man, I got the sign up, photo up with Sebastian Stan." The day before the con, he's like, "Oh, I can't show up." Everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
Oh yeah, dude. I would have been kind of mad about that too. Actually,
There were a lot of people like the refunding. Obviously, like they got their refund. She got her refund. But she got to meet Jim Cummings. Speaking of Eeyore, that's Winnie the Pooh's voice. And then a friend of mine got a photo up and a signed signature with Stephen Amell, Arrow. And,
oh nice, yeah, in his prime.
Yeah, and Katie Cassidy, who did Black Canary. So
Yeah, she actually was streamed a little bit too. I think she was like a Black Ops player.
really,
Yeah, she did a couple of streams, I remember. And then I don't know if she does it now, but yeah, she's a gamer. She's a PlayStation gamer.
she was tired. Like my friend like took a picture with her, and she was like, and then when she left, she immediately she was like, I'm like, well, she's tired. Stephen Amell was just a bro.
Yeah, can you imagine if Soul was at If you went to go see
Anaconda.
Sto's panel.
All right. What's going on here, man? Y'all think we
I'm
can
just
start the
gonna
podcast or
imagine-
what?
I just gonna imagine that some people go to your panel like, wow, he's ambivalent.
What's going on, man? You think we can start this podcast or what?
I'm just saying, man. Just like if you're a part of the Power Rangers, people expect any kind of character. You just be like the. People be like, wow, he must be the sad Ranger.
No, I'd probably be like the White Ranger, the most boring color.
The most boring color. Because it's the absence of color.
Oh my god.
Let's do this, boy. Let us know when you go live.
Yeah, let's see. Well, funny enough, I've been live for like the last
Yeah.
5 minutes, man.
Oh yeah, I knew.
no.
I was on top of it. Yeah, Walt was munching away, and I was like, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna let
man.
him ride this one.
man.
Ah!
They know all your secrets, man.
No! I just
Well,
run away.
listen back to the audio. Make sure it's good. No crackling, and then I'll tweet it out.
Let me check. Did you check the audio, Rick? I'll check it now.
We're gonna get started here shortly, guys. Before we do, I want to remind everyone who is watching to go ahead and like the podcast. Consider subscribing as well. We would greatly appreciate that. Yeah, we got
Baba Booey. I said, yo, Baba Booey.
Jesus Christ. We got a few topics for you guys here. Gonna be a great show. So yeah, as soon as Walt finishes
Macho.
checking sound, we will be good to go. Macho, I think he's asking for you to go ahead and talk into the mic so he can see if you're there.
Macho heard I met Carolina Rabasa, and he's like just Googling where she's gonna be at the convention.
Yeah, I guess that's why he's not talking.
Yeah, man, he's busy just scouting the webs.
Oh man, that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh man.
Sheesh.
Yeesh.
All right. How we sounding, Walt?
He was waiting for you, man.
Was he?
Yeah.
Are we good though?
Well, he needed to know how you sounded.
All right, you sound
okay.
beautiful.
Sweet.
All right, let's get started, guys. Welcome back to the 53rd episode of the DualShock Sense Podcast. I'm your host, Soul, the connoisseur of anime waifus, joined as always by my two co-hosts. I got Walt, back from his hiatus, scouting out those strip joints once again, man. How you doing, man?
It's brothel hopping.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm turning to Littlefinger from Game of Thrones with all this entrepreneur, just brothel empire I'm building. But what's going on, y'all? Really haven't played much, and haven't read it either. So the manga has stopped. It's on the hiatus until further notice, and the games as well, because these strip jones have they suck me dry. I have no money.
Whoa.
I'm broke. I have no money. No, so come on, get your mind out of the gutter, man.
Jesus
What's wrong with you,
Christ, man. What the hell is going on?
Just because
Hey,
Kirby
man.
came out don't mean nothing, man. All right.
Hey, man, mouth momo, it changes, man. But what's going on?
That's
y'all?
what it is.
Doing good. Getting ready to talk some games.
I would argue you've been like this since the day I met you, man.
Yeah.
No mouthful mode required for that to happen.
Hey, yo, we're starting out quite saucy here. Am I right, yo?
Hey, man, I blame you.
Hey, yo, doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good, pretty chill. It's a good week. It's been a satisfying week. I feel content. I feel full in the heart and the belly. I just ate earlier, so getting ready to start this podcast.
Nice. We got Macho here as well. How you doing, man?
But regardless of the fact, man, it's been a good week, man. It's been. I was telling Walt before, it's a bit of a slow week, but regardless, it's actually been pretty productive. And I will say that I actually am trying my hardest. A bit of a personal story. Trying my hardest here to not be on the social medias as much. I kind of have to because of my job, but regardless, I'm trying to stay away from Twitter and all that stuff as much as I can now. And I've successfully completed a full week of going for an hour a day on Twitter, compared to like 2 to 3 hours before. So
Nice.
making improvements.
Nice,
Very
man.
nice.
Nice.
We can only hope to be half the man you are.
Considering you guys are barely on Twitter, I think I'm aspiring to be y'all at this point.
Yes, so we are going to get started with Jesus, the scene.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can skip this
Oh
scene or
my
something.
god, so come on, you're gonna demonetized.
Well, it doesn't really
Oh,
matter.
no.
It's
Why
not
did
like
you start a new game?
I totally
Oh,
listen.
no.
It's been like 70 hours since I played the beginning of this game. I did not
my
remember that this was
God.
there.
You didn't remember that you're taking a
Man.
corpse, a naked corpse
So-
out of a bathroom?
Nah.
First it was the order, and now this.
What
Come
happened
on,
in the
man.
order? I don't remember what happened there.
You had a scene.
yeah,
huh?
the sex scene,
You had
yeah.
a sex scene over
In
there.
the order, there was a sex scene.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, or like a
Yeah.
nude scene. Yeah, there's a nude scene.
I don't remember that at all, man. What?
Yo,
That's
I
it
do
was
remember
wild.
that. You're a public.
You
Oh,
were
man.
like, oh man, I forgot about this. I forgot.
Guys.
that's
God.
weird. I actually don't remember that.
You don't remember?
Yeah, I really don't remember that.
That's funny.
I barely remember anything of that game.
No wonder you're.
I barely remember my life.
Yeah, to
It's just.
be honest.
I was wondering. I was like, why is he hesitating so far? He's usually. And then I was like, look at the screen. I was like, oh, there's titties on screen.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do, man. I panicked. Yeah. So we're gonna begin the
Yeah.
podcast like we normally do, talking about the games that we have been playing. Whoever wants to jump in first, man, go for it.
Sure.
yeah,
I'll start off because Macho
Yeah, I'll say,
guy
well, you go first.
is finally dipping his toes in something that I want to hear about him after me because I want to judge him. But to start,
As blatant as ever.
this week I actually started off trying Fortnite after the big update where they took off building and did a couple
Yeah, they
rounds
added
of
Doctor
that.
Strange, right?
And they had Doctor Strange now. They got they have lore behind the reason why building is not a thing, and you have to like recover it or whatever. I don't care about that. I don't want to recover it. I hope building just doesn't return. I'm having some fun. I got a couple dubs in that with no building strats. But the other game that I have been playing on and off, haven't played much of it this week. Has been Elden Ring, but it's been more so of a grind every time I get on, just to level up a bit more every time so that I'm ready to tackle the big bosses that I have in my sight. I think I'm close to the end. I mean, that's relative with this game, but like I am probably like a boss or two away from fighting the final boss. But I'm doing a specific ending, so I've been doing that quest line. I bought an enemy that is by the teeth. It is a bloodborne enemy. The reason why I say this, it's an enemy that the description reads, it's a malformed star, and it fell from the cosmos. And if you know anything about Bloodborne, there's cosmic eldritch beings. There's the great ones. And this enemy very much felt like fighting a great one, which was fascinating. I did that. And last night, I started Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which,
Oh,
To
yeah,
my
I did
sup-
see you got that.
yeah, man, to my surprise, I did not even think about getting this game until literally Thursday, where I was like looking at some gameplay and some reviews from some people that I watch on YouTube, and I was like, this actually like I feel something inside. I'm like excited for this. I want to play this. I didn't play Borderlands 3. Last Borderlands I played was Borderlands 2, and that was the PS4, and that was so many years ago. And it played Tales from the Borderlands and all that the PS4, but nothing with Borderlands 3. I didn't really care for it. But in the last year, I really got into Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm doing a campaign with some friends, and I did a one shot, and I'm like, we're preparing for another campaign that's gonna be like a Disney themed, like twisted Disney, like Alice in Madness, like that, like a dark Disney campaign. So I'm pretty excited for that. So with all this excitement of getting to Dungeons and Dragons and actually enjoying Borderlands 2 and enjoying, let me tell you, this is Ashley Birch is in a roll. First with Aloy, now with Tiny Tina. Like, this woman has range. Like,
I
this
didn't know
is
she did
incredible.
Tiny Tina.
Like, it's amazing how much fun this game can be. I'm not far into it. I'm not what to say? I'm not how far am I? I'm like two missions in, like two main missions in. I just unlocked like the like do side content and whatnot. But it very much is entirely fictional. Like I mean, the game is fictional, of course, but it's in your mind. It's literally just all imagination. Like Tiny Tina is narrating, and as she narrates, you see the world start getting like objects and enemies as she's mentioning, and it very is true to the D&D DNA. But yeah, you don't think that that's Ashley Birch. You don't hear it. Like, this is a completely different persona for sure. And I saw some interviews, and apparently the way that she portrays this character in the recording booth is like very much just her, like her mannerisms and everything. Like, she's very much becomes Tiny Tina in the booth, and she just lives the role so much. So it's like a very specific type of character that is very dear to her and very personal. But like, I'm having a blast so far. It's the same typical, of course, looter shooter, but with the D&D flavor, and it very much is, you have your classes that you can choose. You have the equivalent of a rogue, it's called Stabomancer, the equivalent of a wizard, a spell shot. They all have their different abilities, just like in the old Borderlands, but with more D&D flavor. You have character sheets. You can allocate dexterity, strength, wisdom, just like a D&D sheet. So I want to point this out, and I'll finish up with this because I'm not too deep into it. I'll give more of my thoughts next podcast, but something very cool that this game does is when you're creating your character, you have a variety of choices to customize your character. But a couple of very small things I think but they're significant is when you're choosing your body type, it's like male, female, or type A, type B, or like, but most often than not, it's like male body type, female body type. And this one, it's just called this one or that one. This one, like literally, it says this one, male, and it's the male body type, and then that one, and then it's female body type. But then underneath, you see that like you have ways of adjusting the pitch of your voice in like 6 different voices that you can choose from. And then underneath that, it says pronouns, and you can actually choose your pronouns, which has she, her, he, him, they, them. And I just think it's really cool how like even in customization, it's like inclusive in that way. So like that stood out for me. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially like it's a multiplayer game, so
essentially, and like to the core of like how D&D has like just a variety of characters and like from the entire spectrum. The way that they're addressing like the type of person that you want to be is not like in the beginning, like when first Cyberpunk came out, it's like if you had a certain body type, you had a specific pitch to your voice. It was linked to the body type. It wasn't so much a pitch of voice that you chose separately. So it's cool how they did that. But yeah, man, having a blast with that. Can't wait to dive more this weekend and more Elden Ring. And and now I'm really interested in listening to Macho, what he's been playing, because he's Surprisingly so, less hours than me, and he already got to the level I am. But because I've been so sidetracked with like exploring in Elden Ring, Macho, why didn't you jump into what you've been playing?
Sure. Yes, I mean, most of the week has been Elden Ring and Triangle Strategy. So I got about 20 hours into Triangle Strategy. And, well, I'm curious. Have you played it yet or no?
I've played. So here's the thing: when I first started it, I like got a good what was it, like 2 hours maybe into the beginning. I'm very 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 early, but I noticed that this is a game that I like need complete investment in, and not that I'm not invested, but like complete like non-important stuff to do in other games, like in Elden Ring. Like once I beat the main final boss in Elden Ring, I'll be able to like focus all my attention to Triangle Strategy. I did that with Fire Emblem Three Houses, where I did not play anything else but Fire Emblem because I really want to be just invested in one singular story and not multiple games. But I'm not too deep into it. But 20 hours, I mean, that's enough to like have an opinion. I'm not that far in.
Yeah, I mean, more or less, yeah, because I've been really taking it super slow with this one because I've been really enjoying kind of like this extra flavor of games other than just Elden Ring and Horizon and any other game like I have that I've been thinking about playing.
Nice.
Any game that's coming out really, but it's just such a nice treat. It really is. I find just everything about it super charming, and the gameplay's a lot of fun, and the story is really good. So
Nice.
like I'm getting so much Game of Thrones vibes from it that I'm just really enjoying kind of like this high fantasy story that's very intricate. And one of the things I love about it the most that I didn't really expect really was the Suikoden recruiting part of it, where you just
Ooh.
have like these characters that kind of get dropped every other chapter or so, and they call it side character stories, and you can choose to engage with them or not, which is the interesting part. But when you do, you actually get some sort of background into these different characters that don't really encompass like the entire like grand story of Triangle Strategy, which is really nice. You get like kind of like the cause and effects of different characters, and every one of them has their own different gameplay style. So like I explained it last podcast, but the ones like I just got this morning rather, when I was playing, was I actually unlocked a shaman, and what she does is she actually controls the weather, which actually has a good effect like on the battlefield, obviously. So you have certain characters that can cast magic, being like blizzard, the elements, blizzard, thunder, fire,
Right.
and all that can have an effect on the environment. So if I'm thinking now like, okay, now that I could bring this shaman into my party, she can like bring rain, or what was the other one she said, I think like a tornado or something like that. So I can bring up those elements, and then I can combine that with another magic user to just have an area effect and just absolutely immobilize enemies. So like those are kind of like the things I'm bringing into my head like once I'm actually recruiting these characters. And there's another one that's a merchant, where he can actually get, for some reason, one of his abilities that he can get enemies super mad or just like basically go in berserk mode to the point where they can actually go against their I guess what's it called? Their allies.
Oh,
So yeah,
gotcha. So like an aggro, like a type of aggro.
yeah, it's sort of like bribery, I guess you can say, or like maybe just like a play on words that the merchant is doing to have this one person go against his friends and stuff like that. So like, it's really cool, and
Cool.
it's a one thing that I've been really surprised about. Yeah, that whole Suikoden aspect that I loved about Suikoden in the first place. It's here in Triangle Strategy. I'm really enjoying that part.
Right. Which they are making one, right? There's like a Suikoden being made, or like it was Kickstarted or something. Or was that a different game?
That was for the spiritual successor,
Mm-hmm.
Eowyn Chronicles, I think it is.
Something like that, yeah. Did it ever come out, or
Yeah.
is it not out yet?
No, if you go to lordsofgaming.net, actually, there's this one of the writers there has been following that game since like it started Kickstarter. Uh,
Mm,
he's been doing like monthly updates, so check out on that because I think that game's supposed to release this year or next year, and like maybe like the prologue is supposed to release this year, something
gotcha.
like that. Yeah, yeah. But so more or less, I've been kind of dabbling to that a little bit, and it's mostly been kind of reading comics actually, coming from our conversation from
Oh,
last week. So we were talking about Batman. I just decided to like really dive into comics. So I've been reading more of the Long Halloween. I've been reading. Obviously, I read Year One. And actually, I'm reading the sequel to Long Halloween that I even know about called Dark Victory, and it's a full on blown sequel, and it's awesome, man. It's so good. It absolutely goes into kind of the parts of Batman that I think a lot of us find really fascinating, was just more kind of like the mental factor of it all, and kind of like how much of how much of a loner he kind of really puts himself to be when all this tragic stuff starts happening in the Long Halloween. And you get to see kind of like the repercussions of that in the Dark Victory comics. So I've been really diving into those, and then I want to get into Nightfall, which is the comic storyline where Bane breaks his back. And then the other one has been like the White Knight, which is like a more like a recent one. And I actually finished Court of Owls. I haven't finished Court of Owls, so I want to get into that comic too. But
You should give
yeah.
the Batman Who Laughs a shot. It's really like a fascinating take at Batman, like a mixture of Batman and the Joker, and just how absolutely dangerous that would be for like existence.
Really? Oh, I gotta check it out
Yeah,
then.
like
All right,
like
that's on the list.
literally the premise, like you'll see like the comic. It's like literally the Batman goes for like to take Joker down, and the Joker has the gas, that the laughing gas, shoot at Batman, and Batman starts to like
Hey, don't spoil it,
become,
man.
dude, that's literally like the fucking summary behind the comic.
Maybe you just spoiled the summary for you, so now I'm not gonna read it. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
man.
It's really cool, man. It's like a couple of them. Like it's like a whole. It was like a crossover event that they did, or like a special event comic that they did. It got so popular, like literally Batman Who Laughs skin. It's a skin in Fortnite.
Yeah, I did remember seeing that. Yeah, I did
Yeah,
remember seeing that.
it's a scary ass looking character. It's a terrifying thing to imagine. So yeah, give it a
Yeah,
shot.
I'll definitely check that out because I was looking at a couple of comics I had like from just collecting over the years, and one of the ones I started from the New 52 was the Death of the Family, which is the cover
Mm,
is absolutely haunting. So it's literally just you see Joker in the background, but it's a full on black background, so you just see his eyes and his obviously his huge smile, but he's holding up the skin of his face.
oh God, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's the one that people are like, oh my God, that's where the scene's from, because they're like theorizing that the scene that just came out, the deleted
Oh yeah,
scene,
yeah, the more
was like
recent one.
from
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That no, that I
Yeah.
got so much Death of the Family vibes from it for sure.
It
Just
was
seeing that one
disgusting.
scene.
So yes, I also got those vibes.
Yeah. No, that's a really good storyline too, just involving the whole Bat family and the Joker like finally losing. I mean, he already lost his shit, but like this is the
Right.
point where he's tired of Batman,
Yeah,
the entire
Joker,
Batman family.
overall, Joker is just the biggest loser because he keeps losing. He doesn't win. Um, you know, he's kind of a mid villain. I'm kidding. No, I like the villain. I like Joker, the Clown Prince himself. It's just
Yeah,
it
yeah.
gets to a point where like, I mean, there's enough variety, but like Joker and Batman, there's like those cows are being milked quite nicely.
Oh my gosh, whoa, your freaking analogies. Oh gosh, why is there mad lag right now? But speaking of lag, actually, Elden Ring.
Hey yo,
I don't know
hey
what
yo,
happened. I kind of have to
stop
back out of the
capping,
game right now. I have to
stop
back out of the
capping.
game right now. Jesus Christ, what's going on, dude? All right, so yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Elden Ring, and not a little bit. I put like maybe 15 hours in the past week, 15, 20 hours.
Solid.
Um, so you want to guess what level I am?
I
That's
want to what?
absurd.
Guess what level I am?
Oh, what level?
101.
Damn. Is
He's
that easy
15 hours in.
to level up?
It's easy to level up. It's just
It's
like
easy, yeah.
like
It's easy to cheese the level ups, yeah, for sure.
but here's the thing, like you call it cheese, I call it easy mode. People want an easy mode, that's your easy mode. Just grind away and you'll become so powerful you can one-shot bosses. But here's the thing, he's 15 hours in and he's 101. I'm 102 and I'm
30 hours
87
in.
hours
I'm
in.
30 hours in.
30 hours in. I'm 87 hours in and I'm 102. I'm level 102. So like the pacing is literally yours for the taking. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but it's good so far. I mean, I have my grievances with the game, or like the flaws that personally I don't like really for when it comes to just the design feature of it. I really relish in like the closed corridor, really intimate experience that Bloodborne gave me, and
Mm.
same thing with Dark Souls 3. So
Mm-hmm.
when they place you in an open world like Elden Ring, a lot of that feels really stripped away because you just have so much in here. And it's
Mm.
cool because there is a lot in there, and there's a lot of really cool things to see. But like, a part of me really wish that it was a little more focused, and kind of
Mm.
like the way that I really like Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3.
Right.
But when you actually get into the legacy dungeons, it's something like really amazing. Like this is the part where I'm just like, oh yeah, this is what I want right now. So I just got to the second legacy dungeon last night, and I ran into kind of like this roadblock for me. Not specifically in the dungeon itself, but more of just the fact that like whenever I got beat like a boss and I get a really cool weapon, I can't use it because my stats aren't high enough. And since it does take a little bit to actually level up in the game if you're just progressing naturally, which is basically just going from place to place, just exploring, it's gonna take a long time for me to even equip those weapons. So I
Mm-hmm.
decided to look up a couple of farming methods and just go in. And I did it for like maybe an hour or 2 hours last night, and I got to level 100. So I'm gonna
There you
keep
go.
doing the same thing until like I get to the actual stats that I want, and then I'll keep going because I don't want any more Roblox where like, oh, that's a really cool weapon, but I had to level up, and that's probably not gonna
Mm.
be like for another hour or more. So yeah, so that's
And
where I'm at the game.
you use the gold pickled fowl foot. Those are really good for farming.
Gold pickled fowl foot.
Yeah,
I gotta look
those
at that.
that's an item that increases your rune take. And also try and like farm during nighttime because sometimes you have the weather effect that allows you to pick more runes. It's like 5% more. So like
Oh, that's what it was then,
that,
because I
yeah.
noticed that
The
one.
golden
Yeah,
leaves.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what that
Okay.
is. It gives you more rune pickup, I believe. So like it it's like the game gives you the tools to like, hey, you can become Master Roshi like pretty quick. But like you choose if it's not traditional by any means, but like intentional or not, some things I agree were just I'm glad they fixed like the NPC thing. Like you can track NPCs now, like on the map you can see
Oh
where they
yeah,
are.
yeah.
I concur with like Jason Schreier recommending a journal was like a good suggestion because people that didn't know what they were getting themselves into, it's like, yeah, that's the scale of this map. I don't agree of having that much ambiguity in a map. I do think that certain markers are needed to make the experience a lot more tolerable. But
Yeah.
they fixed that at least.
Yeah, that's I think that's a good point too because I ran into Rena, the witch Rena last night,
Mm,
and at least I joined like her cult, whatever it is, and
right.
it basically started this whole new side quest with Lord Blight, which is kind of like the
Oh,
Wolf
do you mean
Man,
Ronnie?
or Ronnie. Yes, Ronnie.
Ronnie the
Yeah,
witch?
excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I kind of started like that side quest, and then I found him in another area,
Mm,
and then he was going on about something like, well, we need this, and that. I'm like, all right, well, let me look this up and see what I need to do. One, I hate the fact that I had to look it up. That's
mm,
the first thing. And two, there's other parts in that guide I was looking at where they're like, yeah, we haven't really figured out where to go from this point, so just hold on tight. I'm just like, are you serious, dude? Like, so
with the
like it was just,
blind. So like
yeah, it
you
was just,
he did his dialogue not help was it too ambiguous?
I felt like it was just a little too ambiguous, but like at that point, like I probably just have to go back to him in that one area and just really analyze what he said and then try to figure out from there. But
You have to think.
I have to think. But at that point, it's just like I'm not gonna remember like 3 days from now when I'm playing the game, man. Like, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
like, it's stuff like that. Like I remember this one quest, like when I first started, like this girl wanted me delivered like a letter to her father in some keep. I don't remember what that keep's name was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't realize how many classes I've been to in this game already in my past 30 hours. Like, I'm not gonna remember one exact one.
Right.
So it's little stuff like that. But again, it's like nitpicks, man. It's for me, it's
Yeah.
like
I mean,
nitpicks,
it is
in a game
something
that's
that
really
like
good.
quest lines and the Souls games have always been the listen to what they're saying go there. But this time it's like tenfold because it's a whole map, and there's like 20 NPCs. So like, to keep track is like kind of hard. But like in Dark Souls 3, there was a Mari or something, the one that you could marry and like get a certain ending with. That you met. She was like a knight, and you had to meet her in certain spots of Anor Londo, and if you didn't, like, it was missable. And then in Bloodborne, you also have things like from Alfred or like Eileen the Crow. Like, there's things that you can do that you can miss, but you can't track at all. You don't even have a map. In this case, at least you can see where the NPC is gonna be, but it's like the con is being that there's too many. there's a lot of NPCs, but I feel like that's why New Game Plus. I have a friend that he's like in New Game Plus 6, and he's like just like speeding through every New Game Plus here and there, and doing specific things where he's like, oh yeah, there's this quest line I haven't completed. So like New Game Plus 4, I did it, and it was like, and I enjoyed it or whatever. So like once you figure out your first walkthrough, the second one, the third, the fourth, everything from there on is just easy as hell. It's not like Bloodborne where New Game Plus 2 is just you want to die because every enemy is just absurdly hard. Or like or be like me where I did New Game Plus 4, and that's when I first started the DLC in Bloodborne, and you shouldn't do that because it has some of the strongest bosses in the series.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking of I don't know, to be honest, I don't even know if I'm gonna do a New Game Plus of Elden Ring, to be fully honest. I'd much rather jump over to Bloodborne like I've been wanting to do and just go from there.
Finally?
Because and finally do the Old Hunters DLC.
Yes. Yes!
So I'm thinking about doing that after Elden Ring, because I'm definitely not going to do New Game Plus for this game, at least not right now. But in any case, it's funny, man. Like, I don't know what kind of coincidence this is, but I haven't had any technical issues with the game since its latest patch. It actually has been running better, especially when you're in open world. Like, riding torrent doesn't look as jaggy, and doesn't really kind of give me a little bit of whiplash with the frame drop. But I kid you not, as soon as I start talking about Elden Ring, I get input lag on my controller now. And
man.
I just exited out the game real quick and jumped back in. It seems a little better. But yeah, even if I'm moving the camera around right now, oh my god, yeah, there's like a half a second delay. So I don't know what I'm gonna do there. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's been my experience with Elden Ring. So it's been good. It's been fun. But yeah, a couple of things here and there, just like
I mean, hey, if it ain't got problems, it ain't a game.
That's true. That's so true.
Wiser words have never been said.
So this whole time, man, he's waking up.
No, man, I'm stressed over here, man. I have this mission where like I have to like I didn't even know, like I was driving to this like pickup point, and it was like an entire minefield, so I was literally just like driving through it like all like willy-nilly, like, just like jamming out my head, not having a care in the world. And then all of a sudden I see all these red lights where I'm driving, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a minefield. So yeah, this is stressful. So yeah, man. I mean, you basically said it, but and I'm curious for you too, Walt. Have you found that you've had less issues technically since this patch has been released?
So surprisingly enough, prior to the patch, I didn't really have any technical issues like input lag or what was the biggest thing, like performance issues. The biggest thing I've had, and I still have here and there, is texture pop-ups. But at this point, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen regardless. Like, I don't know, it's something that will still happen no matter what. But technical issues per se, the only one I had was during a boss. I jumped and I was floating for the entirety of the boss fight, and I couldn't move. I was just like falling in the air. But that's been the extent of it. I haven't really had any issues. It's run like beautifully. It's run really exceptionally good for me, to say the least. But no, I haven't had really major issues.
Okay, cool. That's good to hear. So for me, the games that I played this week, finished Arkham Asylum.
Whoa. Wait.
Yeah.
for the first
What?
time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. Well,
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Did Batman get you in that mood?
Oh yeah,
Yes, sir.
Marshall, it's never been more clear to me before than this moment right now that
right?
our
Yeah, I know
podcast
exactly what
host doesn't listen to our own
Yep.
shows, man.
You caught that too, right? Call him in 4K.
Hey man, when you're going to meet Nolan North, you forget about like
Oh,
the
look
podcast.
It's
look
been a
at
week, Walt. Shut up.
look at Mr. Big Shot here. But yeah, so finished Arkham Knight, or sorry, Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
I guess I mean I already talked about it a lot last podcast, but I guess
Yeah. No,
really
I'm gonna listen to it. But like, my question is to you: Are you gonna get through the other two?
yeah, I bought the Return to Arkham collection, and then Arkham Knight is only like $7 right now until the 31st, so
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna pick that one up too. But yeah, I mean I'm playing City like not right now, but like I've been playing it as well, so
Gotcha.
so yeah, having a good time with City. Asylum, I hated the final boss fight against Poison Ivy. That was not
I knew you would.
Yeah, that was not fun. To be honest, I don't really find the combat to be fun either. Like there was a point with City like a few nights ago where like my like I don't remember if it was like my hands or my wrists, but just like generally that area like was starting to hurt just because of like the constant button mashing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
The
kind of like
parrying and
already I'm
everything.
kind of like at that point where I'm just like annoyed with the combat. It looks cool as hell, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't know. There's not much like, and of course I'm just at the beginning of the game, so this could change the more I progress, but like I'm not finding much to like really challenge me or anything new to do besides square and triangle, to be honest.
Makes you feel like Batman.
I guess.
Well, yeah, keep in mind you're playing this after Spider-Man, which is basically like an enhanced version of the Arkham games.
Mm.
Yeah.
So like this is like where free flow combat was really like this is where it was born. So
Though
you're
you'll
gonna
have
get, like,
people
little
on Twitter
improvements.
tell you that Batman like was like the perfected battle system, and like Spider-Man didn't do anything special, which is like,
Nah.
what are they playing?
I mean I didn't feel the OG Spider-Man I kind of felt the same way about the OG Spider-Man, but Miles definitely helped in that regard with introducing the Venom powers. I felt like that definitely added a little bit more expression to like what you can do in combat. But
Right.
generally, I felt the same way about Marvel's Spider-Man, and like the early Assassin's Creed games as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that didn't really do much to like like make me like the game or make me hate the game or anything like that. I still thought it was a really fun time. Otherwise, I wouldn't be continuing with City. And right off the bat, I love that Catwoman is just like immediately she's integrated into the story, which is pretty cool.
Yes, sir. There's a
but-
DLC with her. It's a little standalone with her. You should
Yeah.
try it.
So yeah, finished Asylum, going through City right now. I finished Cyberpunk as well. Finally finished Cyberpunk 2077. That I guess the only thing I will say is and Walt. So last night, funnily enough, I started the Nomad playthrough.
Oh, very
I,
nice.
I don't think I'll like finish it. I just wanted to see like how different it is. I'm so disappointed that it's like literally like we already discussed that it's literally just the one mission that is different between
The beginning mission.
yeah, that's different between the the main life paths, but it's literally
Right.
only like I don't remember if Street Kid was this short, but the Nomad opening mission is like 5 minutes long. And then after that, bam, it's just like it's the same game for every life path. So yeah,
Essentially.
definitely disappointed about that. That it's really not too different, no matter who you choose.
I'd say
But-
that Nomad is the only path though that has the most different introduction.
Yeah.
because it's literally the outskirts of the city, so it's like the
Yeah.
most unique area that you'll see, like in contrast to the city itself. So
Yeah,
I don't
for
know.
sure.
That's like the main reason why I chose it, because I was like, oh, no one understands me. I'm like from out the city, and I was like really living that RP.
Yeah.
Um, but only first mission.
Yeah, I can understand that. Especially like just thinking about like how boring Street Kid was, the opening as
Mm,
Street Kid. Um, yeah, I can
Yeah, I can attest to that.
yeah, Nomad was definitely like I mean like a little bit better.
right.
But yeah. So aside from that, man, the way this game ends is sort of just like it's not like no matter I feel like no matter what ending you choose, it's like they all kind of suck. Um so like yeah, obviously I'm not gonna get too like spoiler into it. It's spoilery into like what actually
I don't know about
happens,
Macho.
but
I know about the endings, but if you're doing for Macho, I understand.
yeah. I'm not gonna get any like too specific, but yeah, they
Okay,
all end off like
I agree with you.
pretty depressing. Um,
I agree.
I got the sun ending, I think. Um, so yeah, but I mean, then again, like, and I feel like we've kind of talked about this in the past. I really liked how just like it's that classic sort of like cyberpunk question of like depend like it like how like I guess what I'm trying to say is like human are you if you go through all these body modifications and augmentations like in an era where the line between human and machine is so blurred like what does it mean to truly be human, right? And it gets to a point with V where you have all these questions of like an exact replica being made of her, right? If you still have your body, like if the body is still intact and the brain is still intact, does it even matter if you insert like a replica of your memories in there? Like at that point, is it even considered a clone when you still have your brain and body like still intact, right? Like all those
Right,
questions I find like so fascinating, and then so it's the like terrifying like scary stuff that like I don't want to think about, but like I was kind of forced to think about when playing this game.
right,
And yeah, I don't know, man. It's really bonkers stuff once you really start like digging into it, and depressing as well, man.
yes,
Like Judy, like I think about Judy and that kind of like breakup that I had with her at the end. Um,
damn,
that and the choice that you make with Johnny and what happens with Rogue that I was not expecting, that final confrontation with Rogue and Smasher and Johnny being there as well. All that stuff, man, is it's crazy. And yeah, I don't know how if you had anything else you wanted to add, Walt, but yeah, that was definitely the stuff that spoke to me the most, was just like again those questions of again like just thinking about like well, the brain is technically the soul of of our bodies, like that's where our
right,
memories are stored and things like that. And again, if like V has died multiple times in this game and she's about to die again, so if you were to sort of like insert her into, or make a replica of her and insert her into a body where her brain is still intact or something like that, does that constitute as living? Things like that. Is Johnny still living despite him not having technically a soul or a body to return to, right? Like all those things
right.
is so cool to talk about, and I really loved about this game.
I
Yeah.
love the when that takes place in a cyberpunk or sci-fi setting where it's the norm. Like I really, I don't know how you feel about Quantic Dream games, but out of the three, Detroit Become Human does have like good conversation starters about that. Like, what is a human? Like, or what constitutes a human being, or like someone with a soul, or like are androids people? Like, if they grow a sentience, does that mean that they grew a soul? Do they have a soul now? So it's like Cyberpunk takes that and makes it a more of a nihilistic approach because Cyberpunk is very much just a depressing setting. It's everything is upsetting. There's no hope. You're dying. Corporations are winning always, and like you're ravaging for scraps here in the streets. And even by the end, I mean, you saw just like the decisions you have to make. I it's interesting. The only game that had me feeling the way that those endings had me feel was Mafia 3's endings. And it's because Mafia 3 endings are like there's no you don't win. No matter which ending you pick, you don't win.
Yeah, that's how I
You
feel
know?
about this.
You either in Mafia 3 is like at least the protagonist. There's side characters that depending on the decisions that you make, certain characters will be benefited from your decisions. But like then it comes down to okay, personal sacrifice. Is it all about like others? Is it all for the greater good? Does it matter what happens to you? Um, so many questions that quite think everyone makes, but I like it when games allow you to have that space to ask those questions. And I really like sci-fi, man. I'm really interested in starting this series up. I haven't started it, The Expanse, because it's like sci-fi.
Yeah, man.
It's like very popular in Amazon.
Yeah, it's a damn good show.
Man,
I don't,
I'm in the
I
and to
don't.
that point,
Yeah, go ahead.
what was that? To
No, go
that
ahead.
point, sci-fi like I need to get back to it, and I will. I need to get back to Horizon because like the sci-fi in that game is so well like placed, and I just love everything about that game is like made for me. It's just like it doesn't suck that this is the reason why I stopped playing, but like because I got so invested in Elden Ring, like it doesn't mean like one or the other, but like I want to get back to it, and like there will be a podcast where y'all gonna hear me like, okay, I didn't sleep, I just played Horizon. There's gonna be that podcast. But yeah, man, what were you gonna say, Soul?
No, I was just gonna say that yeah, Expanse is really cool. I don't think it really gets into like the same questions that like like Cyberpunk does.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about like like I don't know like world exploration and I guess like things like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, Cyberpunk had very much like the same stuff that like a lot of the reasons why I love Ghost in the Shell so much, because
Mm.
asking those philosophical questions, that being present in this game definitely is like a lot of the same reasons why I love Ghost in the Shell so much. So yeah, that was really cool to have that
Which to
here.
that point, Soul, to get into that, just a little quick question. You've seen the movies. Have you read the manga?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it okay? So is it like are the movies and the manga like that different from each other, or do they explore the same themes?
I mean the first movie is based off of the first or like I want to say like the ending portion of the first volume of the manga. The second movie, who the fuck knows what's happening in that movie? Like that movie is notoriously like that shit goes over everyone's head, including mine. Like I don't know. Like that one is like way too philosophical. Like the first one is like okay, like you can get a grasp on what that movie is trying to say. Like you might have to like really sit down and kind of think about it, but it's still like you could definitely get what that movie is trying to say. The second one, I could not fucking tell you. Like it's yeah, that one goes far above me. But I haven't read the second. I think there's like two major like volumes. I haven't read the second one. I don't think the second one is like an adaptation of or the second movie is an adaptation of the second volume.
Mm.
But yeah, and then the standalone complex anime is just like a totally original, but of course like building off of like the sort of core ideas of what the manga did.
Of the source material?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. But yeah, that's essentially what I've been playing. Finished Cyberpunk, finished Arkham Asylum, and that is I think pretty much it. So for me, next I guess the next week is focusing on City, and yeah, have an update for you guys then. But yeah, so now that we have gotten that over with, let's get into some of these topics. Before we do, I want to remind everyone to please go ahead and like the podcast. We agreed as a podcast that once we get to 80 subscribers, Walt is gonna post a video of himself dancing.
Hey, yo.
So please get us up to 80 subscribers, man, and we'll have that out for you guys. Um, so
And and y'all will be very disappointed.
um,
I don't
so
know. I sent you that Princess Leia outfit, so there you
oh
go.
man,
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
oh
that's what
man.
we're putting on.
Hey, man, the Skywalker saga comes out next week. It's perfect timing. That's all I'm thinking about.
Then you'll be Wicket. You'll be one of the little bears from Endor. What are they called?
Ewoks.
Ewok. You both will be Ewoks, and I'll be your Leia.
Dap, 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 dap.
Yeah, man, I got something going on that day.
Hey, yo. Gonna be
Um,
an Ewok elsewhere.
yeah. So
Soul in the Ewok costume.
hey man, I went to a party a few years ago in a Darth Vader onesie, man. So don't play with
Hey,
me.
yo.
Don't play with me.
With the
Um,
ab packs.
yeah, man. So yeah, man, let's jump into the first major topic, that being, of course, PlayStation acquiring Haven Studios. This was announced on Monday. So PlayStation opening up the week. Have you guys noticed that, like, I mean, we're still in March, but like, man, like PlayStation has had like a ton to say this year. I mean, on top of like the game releases, but I feel like I don't know, like every other week or every like 3 weeks, like there's something going on with them, you know? Um, so yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed that as well, but like, and now there's rumors, we'll see if it's true, but now there's rumors that Spartacus announcement is happening next week. So like, yeah, it feels very refreshing that like they're just like constantly like talking, you know? Um,
Yeah, and it's ranging too from like indies to PSVR to big game releases to Spartacus now. Yeah,
yeah,
it's it's being way more consistent, which is like you love to see. Love
yeah.
to
Yes,
see.
sir.
It's like obviously it's not realistic to expect them to have something to say, like all the time, but yeah, it's
Hmm.
it's
Right.
still it's still pretty
Better than
cool.
last year.
Yeah, still cool nonetheless. But yeah, so some quotes that I picked from GameIndustry.biz. Herman, specifically talking about like why now, and why this partnership. And he said, quote unquote, "It's just easier for us to invest in the team and game more deeply this way. It's a testament to the fact that we've been very impressed with the progress that Haven has made. They're actually exceeding a lot of the plans, including in terms of time, which very rarely happens in game development, let me tell you. So we thought, let's invest deeply and do this properly." And then Jade Raymond over on the PlayStation blog had this to say: "As an SIE first party studio, we will have the opportunity to collaborate with some of the world's most renowned development teams, including studios like Guerrilla, Naughty Dog, Media Molecule, and Insomniac Games, the creators of games that have inspired us as players and developers for years. We are excited to learn from these world class studios as well as the exceptional central creative, technology, and marketing teams whose expertise will enable us to deliver even better games to players." End quote. So, what was everyone's first sort of like immediate reaction to when this news broke?
Mine was that whatever they must be working on must be really damn good for uh for PlayStation to really like kind of jump the gun here. And I
Hmm.
think what the quote you said with her from Herman kind of solidifies that too, is the fact that like their work efficiency is top notch,
Yeah,
and that's what you kind of want out of these out of your studios too, because you want to pump out great concept. You also want to do it in an efficient and timely manner, right?
right.
Because they've been following that kind of trend of big yearly releases ever since what, maybe like what, 2016, 2017, where we
Mm.
had the likes of Bloodborne and God of War and Spider-Man and Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima. Like we've just been inundated with like all these great games since then, and they've really been keeping that momentum with PS5 for really since it started. Really, the only like slow burn was the end of last year, but even then we still got console exclusives like Deathloop and stuff like Kena and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of like adds to their whole motto for this gen of fast, efficient, and quality. So if what they see is something truly worth going for, then that's something that makes me pay way more attention to it as well. I even checked out Haven Studios' website, and I sent it to you guys too. It's really slick, man. Like, it's an
Yeah.
absolutely like eye gasm of a website that's just so slick and fun to go through and really nice to look at. That like, and they even had like their job postings like at the bottom of the page. I'm just like, damn, I want to apply, and like I'm not even in Montreal, like because this is like a really cool place to like work at where like creativity is fostering here. So it's exciting stuff, man. I think we have something really special, especially coming from someone that's so notable in the industry, right? Jade Raymond, like she gets some weird online internet
Yeah,
hate that's just
yeah.
you see that, right? It's not just
Yep.
me. It's
Yeah.
it's really weird. I think it's just some like absolute losers that just hate seeing like a really successful woman in charge in place like this.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the hate is like borderline misogynistic, like the one,
Yeah.
and it's weirdo energy, like it really is.
High key. Yeah, no, it's so weird. But in any case, like, I think it's really exciting. On the other part of it, because I was listening to David Jaffe's like video about this acquisition, and he was saying that from his own sources or his own people that he still talks to, his contacts, that Jade Raymond is like a really efficient leader. That she knows what she's doing, and she's not an
She's
amateur in what she
reliable, she's
does.
capable, yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
one
Like,
hundred percent.
like, and I don't understand why, but like, as people always bring up, well, there's a track record, obviously, because I mean, look what happened at Google and look what happened at EA. I mean, two
Yeah, but that
situations
wasn't
that
that wasn't her
exactly,
fault though.
exactly, two situations that she literally had the rug pulled out from under her, right? So like, I don't, right? Like, you put anyone in that situation, and it's yeah, I don't know. It's not something that happened because of her, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's really weird behavior, but yeah. To that point, and I don't want. I'm not saying that Kojima and her are of like equal standing or whatever, but it does remind me of like
Hmm.
how quickly Kojima was able to build a studio and turn around a game in like
Right.
3 years, right? Or 4 years.
Yeah.
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 So, and it reminds me of that specifically because I remember Mark Cerny, I feel like in like 2017, it was like it was well before this game was Death Stranding was out. And Mark Cerny had already like been playing Death Stranding at the time, and he said something. There was like a quote stating something along the lines of like he is really impressed at how quickly the game is coming along, and yeah, Herman kind of saying the same thing here. I mean, specifically calling out the time that it's taking to make this game is really impressing him. Definitely reminded me of that situation. But Walt, back to you, man. What was your immediate reaction to this?
Immediate reaction, and I sent it in the group like how she essentially said, okay, I'm gonna make my own studio. Found it. A couple of years later, okay, I'm back with the family. And it's just impressive how capable and reliable she's shown to be, and the team, just how capable. And I think that's the key word with like PlayStation and with their acquisition. It's like capable and reliable because they're here to help you. They give you the resources, but they have to trust you enough to where you're going to take care of the product, and they're going to oversee. They're going to be there for advice and for consultations and whatnot. But essentially, it's like the bridge between studios, because now they'll be able to talk with Naughty Dog, and they'll be able to talk with like Molecule, and they'll be able to talk with all these studios and consult and be efficient with them and capable and reliable. And I think it very much was just like a nice full circle of how everything went about. And that's what you get when you get like industry veterans like her and like Kojima, where they just build a strong foundation and a fantastic just group of people that are passionate for essentially making video games. And of course, companies profit. We all know that. No one's offending anyone here. and no one needs that. These companies don't need us standing up for them, but it's nice to appreciate and it's good to acknowledge the fact that these are people that they didn't just appear out of the the ether just like that. These are people that have experience and have the knowledge to be in this position. And I think
Not
the acquisition, that's so cool.
not only
So cool.
just like general experience, but they have like years. Like a lot of people at this team have years of experience working specifically together with one another.
Yeah, they have history. They have chemistry. They have already they can very much. I think the relationship they have between them is the relationship that PlayStation has with their studios, where it's you do your thing, I'll do my thing, but we understand each other. Again, that's not always the case. Sometimes there's a miscommunication. And I think indie companies, that's where most of majority of people wish that the attention and the love was put more into, which we're seeing more recently.
Oh yeah, they're
But
killing it this year with it.
honestly, no, truly, like that. I feel like last year was a very big learning year for PlayStation, in that this year they're really like going in strong, and it's gonna be April. Like we're still like in the first half of the year, so they can still do a lot more. Which
Yeah, they just stealth dropped a new indie game yesterday. I forgot what it was called, but it's basically like a beat 'em up. Um, oh God, what is it? What is it?
is it like
It's
hand
called
drawn or is it what is it?
it's called Tunchi, which I
Oh,
think is
Tunche. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember. I think it was Blessing from Kind of Funny. I saw a video like it was like a couple months ago where they were. I think it was still in development or like a year ago. And yeah, they did self drop. Yeah, I saw that because you shared it. I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect that.
yeah, it looks great. It's like a what is it? I'm looking at it right now, and it's a I
And it has
just
Hat Kid from Ahead in Time.
yeah, but it's like a beat 'em up. I just saw the description. What the hell?
What is this? It's a game. It's a
Yeah.
video game. I promise.
No, yeah, it's absolutely a video. There you go. It's a beat 'em up hack and slash roguelike with roguelike
Mmm.
elements, and it
What's
has
a
a co-op.
roguelike?
It's a co-op game, but like the way it looks awesome, guys. Like the art style is just absolutely amazing. But it has these really cool characters. But yeah, that's like one random indie game that I saw pop up on their channel, and that they promoted on Twitter, and I was like, this looks really cool for $20, like to play with friends. This looks really nice, man.
That's
So
what's
yes,
up.
PlayStation's absolutely killing it when it comes to like the indies this year.
Yeah, love to see it. And yeah, but yeah, I think it's a great. I mean, and not only because it's not the fact that it's like it's an acquisition. No, I'm not looking at like it as like another studio for PlayStation. No, it's who it is and who's involved and the history.
I mean,
And
that's the big difference I feel between the acquisitions that Sony is making versus Microsoft, is that Microsoft is very IP driven at the moment for
mm,
specifically for Game Pass, and as opposed to PlayStation, they are very talent driven. I mean, look at the amount of money that they shelled out just to retain the talent at Bungie. And this is the same thing here, where they're not exactly doing that, but in terms of they're specifically investing in the talent at Haven Studio. Jade
mm,
Raymond. You have literally the original founders of Assassin's Creed with Jade Raymond, Raphael Lacoste, and Corey May, all there at this studio. People who have not just those three, but people who have worked together on the original Assassin's Creed games, have worked together at Google, right? They have such a familiarity with one another, that I feel like, yeah, that it was probably like a no-brainer for them, and it's probably another reason why they're seemingly making this game so quickly, because they have experience working together.
hmm
So yeah, that's another thing that I think is pretty interesting. And then I guess like the immediate thing that I saw when this kind of broke was people questioning. And I guess I even did too immediately, but once I started thinking about it, it made a lot of sense. A lot of people were questioning, like, before they've even made their first game, like that's like what that's really weird. And the reason why you do this acquisition now is because can you imagine if, their first game becomes like a Lost Ark situation or a Final Fantasy 14 situation where it's something that it absolutely blows up. Imagine how expensive they are going to be after that. They're going to have tons of suitors in the event of their first game being a hit or something like that. So it makes so much sense to go after them now when they are probably at their cheapest, the cheapest that they will ever be, as opposed to, after their first game when they probably have a lot more eyes looking at them compared to now.
Yeah, their location definitely speaks to that too, because they're in Montreal, so the game development side of, and even the publication side over there, it's pretty
Pretty diverse.
niche. Yeah, I mean it's diverse, but it's niche compared to like other parts of the world. So
Mm, mm.
having one kind of hub there is also really nice because that's like you said before, so like you're just fostering talent. So you have one big studio from one big publisher, then that's gonna spread waves.
I mean, that's another thing that they kind of talked about I mean, Herman talked about in his talk with GameIndustry.biz is that like Canada in general, like specifically the area with Montreal, Quebec, Toronto, is just like this hub for game development. Like it is the Austin, it is the sort of like Santa Monica of game development in Canada. Like there are so many studios in that area that it not goes far beyond just the Ubisoft studios, of course. But Sega has teams over there,
Mm.
Microsoft has teams over there. Like a lot of people have teams specifically in that area of Quebec and Montreal and
Yeah.
Toronto. So it's a little surprising that it's taken PlayStation this long to kind of like tap into that well, but they finally did, and it's a very big deal that they finally have a team that's over there. So yeah,
For sure.
that's good for them. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, we didn't really. I mean, obviously, I feel like we knew this last year that their game that they're making was a live service game. I don't know why
Mm.
people are like all of a sudden shocked about that, and I guess that kind of brings up this question of like people are saying PlayStation, obviously being upfront and sort of talking about that they have 10 live service games planned to release before 2026. Um, and people, obviously see this acquisition, a team that's making a live service game. Um, so people are kind of like, I don't know if scared is the right word, but they're making up this thing in their head that PlayStation is giving up on single player games and are going fully into the direction of live service now. The recent release of Gran Turismo 7 and the debacle with its microtransactions and stuff like that, I guess kind of feeds into that worry or concern that people are having. But yeah, what do you guys think about that topic? Because I'm sure you guys have seen that sort of like quote unquote worry that people are having.
I don't express the same worry. I do think that they're dipping their toes more into that field. Uh, but I don't think it's going to be just a full on shift where they're just going to ignore their single player game. I mean, that's like the bread and butter of like why PlayStation is so renowned with like their single player like first party exclusives. I do think they're gonna start bumping out more. Like they have 10 live service plan. I think it's just more like testing the waters and see where their strengths lie and like trying their own version or their own approach at the widely successful formula that is a live service game. But I don't think that they're just gonna shift and not do single player games at all. That'd be, I don't know if that's smart or not. I don't think it would be the right move, but who am I to determine that?
Matcha.
No, I mean, we talked about it before, but it's ridiculous. Because it really is, man. It's
It
just
really is.
Yeah, I agree.
because like Square Enix, their cash cow, right? Their beast that's being fed is Final Fantasy 14. You know, that's their that right now that's their big money maker, and they've been trying to make other money makers being Avengers and Babylon's Fall. even Chocobo GP, and those are just kind of like not dead in the water, but like those definitely didn't hit the marks that they want, surprisingly, right? But Final Fantasy 14 is the one that just keeps funneling in money because it's so good. It's a
That's all
game
right.
that yeah, shut up. It's a game that's like providing funds to projects like Final Fantasy VII Remake, a full blown single player RPG, to Final Fantasy 16, another high quality single player RPG, to Forspoken, another single player RPG. Like, are you guys catching my drift here? Single player games are not going anywhere because they have a focus on live service. Square Enix has been pumping out a couple of live service games in the past couple of years. Meanwhile, one of them has been wildly successful and almost supernaturally successful, actually,
Hey,
the way it kind of
whoa.
recovered. But
This man got Square Enix on the brain because we're talking we're talking about PlayStation, like specifically them. Like, what do you think? Because people are seeing.
I know, but I'm making the comparisons here. That's
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Square, like the same thing that Square is doing is like they have the live service, but there's not gonna like just stop doing what the their main bread and butter is, like the meat and potatoes of what like they're
exactly.
known
Yeah.
for.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they've been pumping out remasters and all these single player ventures and like projects and ideas because of also like kind of their bedrock and live service, like that's providing the extra funds for them to do stuff like that. It's the same thing with PlayStation. Their big thing is on the live service stuff because that's gonna be the thing that keeps making them money the same way PS Plus and the online services have been given the money for like the past decade. And that's going to flow into Spartacus too. That's going to be a constant stream of revenue. That's just going to make them more money to provide more single player experiences, and it's all a funnel. So it's ridiculous that people have that worry because they're not going anywhere with
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, I agree that's ridiculous because people are acting like this is going to be like a mutually exclusive thing. Like we're only going to get live service experiences from here on out. When in reality, we're getting both, and I don't see an issue with having more games or a more variety of games. Like, isn't this what people were asking for when they complained that PlayStation doesn't have multiplayer games and things like that? Well, this is exactly what you're asking for, and they're doing both, right? They're giving us
Yeah.
a wider breadth of content to their players, which I'm probably not going to play all of them, right? I'm not the biggest multiplayer fan, but like
mm,
regardless, there's going to be an audience who is craving for those kinds of experiences.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting for them to do some kind of fighter, 3D, 2D, not 3D, but 2D fighter,
Mm.
just so I can actually use PS Plus because I have no online, uh, other than maybe like Elden Ring or something, but it's very minimal. And
Hmm.
to that point, I would love for me a reason to get back into online and jump into multiplayer scenarios, with one of them being DNF Duel coming out at the end of June. So
True.
that's another reason that I think that's only like a PlayStation console exclusive. So
Yeah,
there's that.
it's weird because like I feel like are people also just forgetting the fact that I forget if it was Jim Ryan or Herman who said that they have 25 games in development at PlayStation Studios right now.
Yeah.
25. So
Hmm.
you're taking
And like
just
half of
doing
them were like new IPs or something, right?
that too, and just doing simple math here. If 10 of those are live service games, then you still have 15 that are single player games, right? So yeah, I don't understand like I just don't understand where like the worry and concern is coming from. It's
Just
really
being
weird to me.
dramatic. Just being dramatic.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for. I mean, if unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about in regards to Jade Raymond and Haven joining PlayStation.
Matt, congrats. Matt,
Yeah.
congrats to the team.
Yeah,
They're
Kudos.
back in
Welcome
the
to the
family.
family.
and this
Welcome to the family, son. You know?
And this also, I guess the last thing I'll say is that this also feels different to like a Insomniac acquisition or Housemark or Blue Point in terms
Mm.
of this actually feels more in line with like I guess like a Naughty Dog or a not Sucker Punch, Gorilla
Yeah, it
acquisition
feels more
where
personal.
where those companies, when they were acquired, they were literally like just starting out. Like they were in their infancy, and this is literally like Haven has only been in existence for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So literally they are picking them up literally at their beginning before they have even released the game. I'm not saying that it's essentially like Sony built this studio, but like to be honest, Sony has been there funding the studio since the beginning. So I mean, really, yeah, it does remind me of like a Guerrilla situation or
Yeah.
Naughty Dog when they picked those guys up, like essentially at their start.
It better not be the Twisted Metal reboot. I swear to God.
Hey yo.
Can you imagine Haven Studios working on a Twisted Metal reboot of
Hey
all
man.
things?
That would be funny. But thank God they said it's a new IP, so you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about that.
Gotcha. It's
Yeah.
Metal Twisted.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so,
No, it's funny how like because I had to bring it out, like Macho mentioned just how their website is slick as hell.
It
Like
is, man.
we got companies like just like that have been for with us for a while, and not just video games and non-video game alike, that have just terrible design choices in websites, and they're just a year in, and they feel like they've been around for like it feels like they know what they're doing, which they do, but they've been around for like such a like small amount of time. It's very much like I'm excited for it gives me the same like feeling that like Glenn Schofield is with like making Callisto Protocol. It's like it feels familiar, but it's new. It's like because it's Spates, but it's like the spiritual successor. But it's like J. Raymond, Haven, PlayStation. It feels like I feel cozy. I feel like we're back home. Like yeah, we're working on games that matter. And to Macho's point, he brought up Forspoken. Like my meter towards interested moved just more towards it. Like it's like it's moving around a lot. It used to be in like I don't care. Now it's like maybe like it's a
That's a day one for me. Yeah, that's a day one.
bro. Okay, so I don't have to feel shame for like starting to like feel that way because like
Man, you
I
need
don't,
to feel shame at all. Like what you like.
I don't know
Who
about
cares?
y'all, but like because we just I roasted this game so much in my mind at some point where now I'm like that looks so fun. That game looks so fun. It looks so beautiful now, like the cop. Oh man, but yeah, with Haven, congrats, and can't wait to see what they're working on that. Now truly headcanon, real Twisted Metal reboot.
so yeah, let's talk about we had a major delay this week. I don't know if you guys remember what it was. Do you guys remember what it was?
A delay? No.
Yeah, it was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Oh,
When
really?
Sutton Hill just tweeted it out. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was announced as well this week. Moving to I forget if they specified when in 2023, but we know it's 2023 for
Spring.
sure. Spring, okay.
So it's a full-on year delay.
So how long has it been since Arkham Knight? 8 years, right?
Yep.
8 years.
A long time.
So yeah, I mean, this doesn't have to be a long topic, but were you guys surprised in this? Were you guys confident that this game was coming out?
I was relieved. I was so relieved.
Why? Really?
Yeah, because I'm not really looking forward to the Suicide Squad game. Like the
You don't want it in the
trailer.
wild. You don't want people enjoying it. You're like no.
No, it's because I don't want it to steal the thunder of the other game I'm very excited for, which is
Gotham
Gotham Knights, which I think is going to be the better game, to be honest with you. But
Interesting.
more because I'm just interested in that premise of it. Like that reveal trailer for Gotham Knights absolutely sold me. It's a game I've been wanting for such a long time. So, and to get like another Batman-esque, I mean, I know it's not Batman-esque, but still, it's like
They train under Batman. It is
Yeah.
Batman-esque.
Yeah,
Literally,
more-
they all
yeah.
are affiliated to Batman.
Yeah, it's just like I'm not sure like how they're really gonna pull it off, and then it's you don't have no idea if it's open world. Like we don't really know much about Suicide Squad, and the design choice for Harley's not my favorite. I really don't like the way she's designed in that game. But
You don't like the little buns? You don't like the
no,
little...
yeah, it looks super goofy and
the
Star
Leia
Wars-ish. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. So I mean, regardless, it's for one, it's Rocksteady Studios, so it's going to be a fun game regardless. But I'm really interested to see how they really tackle it. But yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that it's getting the time that it needs, and
There you go.
it's not
Exactly.
taking the spotlight away from Gotham Knights. So, which
I'm
it
all
would have
for
been so.
delays.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been so weird just to have like two of those big releases released side by side with each other and kind of compare. Like, if people are gonna do the compare contrast thing, it'll be annoying. So, I'd rather not.
Rather not. It's just like, just stay there. Just don't come out.
Just get delayed by a year.
Just
It's
get
okay.
delayed by like a whole year. No, but that's good. Like, again, like now, I'm not selfish, a little bit, but like when I hear like a delay, I actually feel very, very relieved to that point, Macho, because that just means the game is gonna be treated with more careful and more refinement and just
Yeah,
more.
but 8 years, man. 8 years since they released the game. That's wild to me.
Hey man, Kingdom Hearts 3 took a long time, and look at the masterpiece that came out.
I don't know about that one, but that's a
like
very
what-
bad example. Actually, now I'm actually worried for Suicide Squad.
Yeah, man. That's like bringing up The Last Guardian, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, man.
Even
Good
though,
game, but
yeah, I kind of like that game.
yeah, good game, but I don't
It's
know
good.
about all that.
Yeah.
it ain't Shadow.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm also like not really like interested in to be honest any of those two games, but but
I love how he.
And this
Why do you
man
say
was
like
like,
that?
he was like, really? He's talking to me.
well, yeah, because you're like
Wow,
the
man.
Batman, like super fan and stuff like that.
Batman
so,
fanboy.
Yeah, you're not right. You're not wrong. You're not
so
wrong.
But I love it how he said it so fast where like you couldn't say anything. It's like, to be honest, I'm not excited, but I mean, neither of them, but it's not.
No, yeah,
like
no,
that.
he's not wrong. Just like when they announced they're doing a Suicide Squad game out in my head, it's so bad. I was like, really?
it's such a weird like it's so weird like you know what I mean, like going from
No, it is.
a single player like Batman centric thing. To be honest, I didn't like. I was expecting them to go more along the lines of like what Monolith is doing with Wonder Woman, right? Like one
Yeah,
character focused
yeah.
kind of
Oh,
thing.
that I'm looking forward to
Yeah, like single player adventure game like that.
with the
But
Nemesis system. Oh man,
but for them to go just straight like in the other direction to like multiplayer like co-op, Suicide Squad of all things, right? Like I could have never guessed that.
the what?
The what?
He's abbreviated. It's Suicide Squad. It's
Oh,
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. My bad. But
I'm sorry, man. It sounded really funny. Continue.
But yeah, so yeah, we'll see how that turns out.
It'll be a masterpiece. Game of the year.
Yeah, I don't think
I
anyone's
don't
saying
know,
that.
man. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so aside from that, boys, I think this happened on Monday as well. I might be wrong, but obviously GDC is
Maybe.
happening right now, so obviously a lot of developers are networking as we're speaking, and CD Projekt Red announced that there is that they are beginning development on a new Witcher game. Perfect timing as they are at GDC, so obviously this is sort of like a hiring move. So obviously we don't know too much about the game aside from that it is moving from their Red Engine to Unreal Engine 5. And then also that this is presumably not going to be, I mean, obviously not going to be with Geralt or Ciri. This is looking like it's focusing on a new school altogether, School of the Lynx, which is something
Okay, so I wasn't going crazy. I don't know about Witcher, but I looked at it and I'm like, is this School of the Lynx? So it is, because it doesn't look, you can't see the whole thing. Is that School of the Lynx? That medal?
I mean, yeah,
Medallion?
it's something that they created specifically for, I guess, like this new saga, because it's a school that has previously like never existed. So yeah, it's something that they've created originally themselves. So yeah, which is
really cool.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, what's everyone's kind of thoughts on this?
I think obviously the biggest news is the fact that they're working on a new Witcher game, but the fact they're going to Unreal Engine 5 is Bodes well. Hopefully, we actually get a working game on
You
release.
sound so jaded. It works well.
Yeah, just because like Witcher 3, as amazing a game that is, was not subject to
Wasn't perfect.
or was subject to like a whole bunch of just kind of rehashings, right? Of just like actually fixing up the game. Like I remember getting the game, playing it for a couple hours and
It
just
was so
dropping
buggy.
it. Yeah, just dropping. Not really because of bugs or anything, just because like I just wasn't in the mood to play it, and I could jump back in. It was a completely different game. You know, it looked different, it played differently. So like, I'm hoping that we could, and then obviously Cyberpunk. So I'm just hoping that moving to this new engine just can really help them and sell, not sell, but launch a game efficiently without any game breaking bugs or like crazy visual overhauls or anything like that like we've seen in the past. So
Mm-hmm.
but as far as
Mm-hmm.
like the lore and the lore of the Witcher and what they're going to bring to the table, I am very confident in what they can do. So
Yes, sir.
I'm really interested to see like what they create in their own universe, and I wonder if Andrew Sapkowski is going to have any implementation into this.
Hmm.
Although probably not, because he's really salty about it all. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would
Looking
be
forward
really
to it.
cool since this is a new school altogether, and since we have no preconceived notions of who exactly is going to be in this game and what time period this is going to be in, I think it'd be really cool if they let us create our own Witcher and kind of go that route instead of a set predetermined character like Geralt again or Ciri or something like that or Vesemir. That's the last thing I kind of want them to do. I don't want them to do a game focused on Vesemir or Ciri or Geralt. Like I feel like their stories have ended. You know, there's a neat little bow on them. So yeah, I would like to see a new cast of characters for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
speaking of
sure.
that, actually, I think it'll be really interesting if they decide to go into the past and start up their game right when the convocation happens. And there's needing for like these witchers, these monster hunters, and then School of the Lynx is one of the earlier schools that was established but wiped out eventually. I think that'd be a pretty cool storyline to follow.
By the Fire Nation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
interesting. Because is there like in Witcher 3? Correct me if I'm wrong. They have time travel, right? Or is
I
it
no.
mean,
dimension traveling? Like, what is it that they have?
is more dimension traveling than anything, and that's very very minimal because only is the only one that really experiences that.
Yeah.
Then by having like that idea, I mean, I don't know if like they can like explore just a completely different universe in that regard. I don't know,
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
because like they already like told you, oh yeah, there's other places. Because even Siri goes to like, oh, they were flying like vehicles or whatever. They were flying like hunks of metal, whatever. Like she describes basically cyberpunk.
That would
Like
be weird because it'd be like, okay, you're telling me that Witchers exist in this cyberpunk world now,
no,
or
don't give
in
me Witcher cyberpunk, but like give me like another like fantasy place. I don't know, like the another
yeah. He's
realm
talking
or another
specifically.
like
Yeah, he's talking
yeah, just
specifically not like where Siri and Geralt are
no, that'd
from.
be disgusting. Not
no, no, no,
Witcher,
but like,
Witcher cyberpunk.
but like I mean, that was just an example. But I mean, like
Hmm.
if if I don't know, we dimension hop to like a
Hmm.
sand planet or something like that. So
Right.
you tell me now that like there's like Witchers in that universe as well. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know how crazy they're gonna go, and like, because they specifically said, we have what haven't we done? We haven't announced Witcher 4, and that very much tells me that this is just gonna be. I mean, of course, it can very much be in the same universe. I'm going like overstretching like other universes, but like if there's like somewhere else where like to Macho's point, like they go back in time and like when it was first founded, or if it's like a place where not necessarily the origin of the Witcher, but just the makings of that like start or like just the very much origins somewhere else. I don't know. Like if they're gonna implement like past characters, that'd be cool. Like just like cameos and stuff. But like a completely different cast to your point. So that'd be refreshing and like because I feel like I spent enough time with everyone in that world in
mm,
Witcher 3, and know that the books very much explore every nook and cranny of that cast of characters. So like a different, completely new setting would be amazing. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if it's like a setting to the similar vein of like Blood and Wine, that area.
Yeah.
Like that was. I still think about that, like y'all. Like it's crazy how like
Same here. Yeah, I need to replay that on PC.
Oh, dude! Out of all the DLCs, I have 3 DLCs that are always at the top of my head, and it's Blood and Wine, Undead Nightmare, and Old Hunters. Those 3, like that's peak DLC for me. This is incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, very excited. We won't see this for a really long time. Actually, let me ask you guys this.
No.
What comes out first, Elder Scrolls 6 or The New Witcher?
Well, it depends how much they have to do in Unreal Engine 5. Like, I have no idea if they're going to carry over all their assets from Red Engines to Unreal Engine 5.
Don't be smart with this. You'd be dumb.
Well, that's the only thing that I'm thinking of. Like when Soul said that they're going to move this stuff to Unreal Engine 5, I immediately thought like, well,
Right.
they're going to reuse assets or they're going to bring some over. Like, because it really depends how much that's going to be. But with that said, Witcher 4 is coming out first.
For the meme. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I at this point, I just like Elder Scrolls is just a fever dream. Like for me, it's like they're like we're working on it. I promise, and I'm like okay. Like
Yeah, no, there's no way Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out before new consoles come out.
we'll get 4 more expansions for ESO before we get Elder Scrolls 6.
Hey man, if we get Elder Scrolls 6 before Last of Us 2 Factions, we have problems.
Yo,
we're
that's a different problem right there.
We got major problems, bro.
I don't want that. I don't want that. No, go back, please.
So yeah, sort of the other major topic or major piece of news that broke, I think yesterday, was that PlayStation's Spartacus, codenamed Spartacus, their sort of updated subscription service that's essentially a combination of PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, is finally going to be revealed next week. Does anyone have like any of the details handy?
No, it's because every time I see details of Spartacus, it's always some weird tier prediction nonsense that just
I
sounds
haven't
either
really
too
found
good to
anything,
be
like,
true or too dumb
concise.
to be true.
Yeah, exactly. Like I haven't found anything concise that like tells me, okay, let's be level-headed about this. No, it's like, guys, it's gonna be like 3 tiers. You're gonna have to pay this for this. There's not gonna be any legacy titles. All I know is that I think that stood out is that they won't have like number or like it's like people are like rumors about they not having like day one like first party titles.
Which
Yeah,
which I think
and the consistency of combining PS Now and PS Plus.
right,
Mm-hmm.
which I think makes sense for them. I mean, this is sort of like, I remember Sean Layden talking about this, about like how unsustainable it would be for them specifically to put a game like God of War, day in day on a subscription service like that. So it makes sense why, that has just kind of been like the one consistent thing throughout all of these rumors.
Right.
yeah,
Which to that point, Soul, because now that you mention it, yeah, I want to get like your input on this. Like that being the case, right? Sean Lane established like what works for PlayStation. People are saying that, oh wow, no, like that's the dumbest move because that's what makes Game Pass work. It's like, but that's not the same approach. The subscription model is not the same. I mean, yeah, it's a subscription, but the approach and the purpose is not the same. And
Yeah, that pretense that people keep saying that like it has day one, Xbox exclusive in it, which is great, but I mean,
right.
where are they?
Exactly. I was about to say, give me the binoculars. Like, I'm able to find.
Oh, man.
I'm able to
No,
find.
this brings
it's
up
legit.
it's a legitimate like argument. Like you could say like that's Game Pass day one, high console exclusives, but like y'all not getting those for a long time. And
Yeah,
then they got sparse drops last year, and everybody, the saying is they've been quiet lately, but like regardless, like I feel like that one argument is strong. Yeah, it's absolutely strong, but like it's
yeah.
not gonna have any true weight until we actually see that, and that's not gonna be for a while.
I mean, that's why, like, I think it's so dangerous for, like, literally no one was propping this thing up to be a quote unquote Game Pass competitor until,
Or killer,
and
like how it's being deemed.
I don't think that's like what this is like at all, or it was ever pegged to be that until places like I was literally just looking at IGN right now, and their tweet is like, Sony's Game Pass competitor, and I feel like it's really dangerous, like already putting that in people's minds that this is like somehow going to be Sony's answer to Game Pass, when I don't think that's what they're shooting for at all.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like to me, this is literally just service consolidation. Like as we just talked about, combining these two services into one. And at best, like we'll have classic games in there. Um, but
Hmm.
I kind of disagree with that because I do think it's a Game Pass competitor in the sense of like having a space in that realm
but they but
as live services
but go ahead.
because
But
Game
that's
Pass.
not the intention.
I mean, because the thing is, when it comes to Game Pass, a lot of the buzz around it is the positivity of what it offers,
Hmm.
and you can't really. I feel like you can't really just let your competitor just stay there and reap all those benefits and get all the publicity that it wants from like, media. I mean, we're seeing it like right in front of us, right? Like where media is just absolutely just eating up Game Pass,
Hmm.
and and of course PlayStation kind of wants that space where they want to dip their toe in there. So I do think it's in some way a Game Pass competitor, whether it's in like an equal like service. I don't think
Right.
so. No.
Which is that's where the argument lies. Like
Yeah.
you have people saying, "Oh, this is the Game Pass killer." Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
let's take a step back and ask ourselves what makes Game Pass what it is, and then when Spartacus, codename Spartacus comes out, what makes that exceptional and what makes that worthwhile and the bang for your buck? Because very
Right.
much you see the what people always are asking for. It's like legacy titles or like it's like PS1 and PS2. Like people want like old games on a new console. Something that Xbox perfected like a while ago with backwards compatibility and the amount of the games that you can play there. They
Yeah. It
very
kind
much
of
are
sucks that they kind
asking,
of stopped too, but
yeah, and they're very much asking. At least with PlayStation, you see like this sentiment online where they just want to be able to like play the classics, not streaming them like on PlayStation
yeah.
now.
Hmm.
Download them, and I think that that's this is like the beginning phase. This is gonna feel like baby, like the beginning. What Game Pass was at the beginning, or like what people like thought about it in the beginning. Like this is gonna be like Spartacus, but a bit more refined. And whatever PlayStation decides to do, not saying that's gonna be better than Game Pass, but it's gonna benefit PlayStation owners, and I think that's the big thing. It's that focus on your audience. What does your audience look for when purchasing a PlayStation or when providing feedback? And I think that's what like Spartacus is going to be the answer to. Is it the answer to Game Pass? No, but is it a competitor? Yes. It's more so on. It's very different things.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree.
I guess my thing is that like what makes Game Pass is first party titles and third party titles dropping day and day into Game Pass. And
Hmm.
if you're
Hmm.
Spartacus and you don't have that, then like are you really competing with are you really a quote unquote Game Pass competitor at that point? Um
Mm.
Well,
so
to that. Sorry to cut you off, but like to that point, then PS Now is a competitor to Game Pass
I I guess, but like
because they just dropped Shadow Warrior 3 day one in that like last month.
sure, but again, it's not like Horizon and God of War like they entered in there like years after the fact. So yeah, I don't
Mm.
know, but I mean, then again, like yeah, if first and third party games weren't in Game Pass, then yeah, then PS Now definitely would be more of a competitor at that point. But again, that's not the case. So
Well, I think that's mostly because of just perception. Because if you were to look at it like that, right? Because like you said, Game Pass has third party and first parties in there day one. PS Now is starting to do that. Excuse me, and as well as what PS Plus did with like its indies and stuff like that. So the competition is there. It's just a matter of fact. I think Spartacus is just gonna amp it up a little bit more because with
Right.
Game Pass we also had third party dealings with like Outriders, right? Where like that absolutely blew up within the month of its release and then died off, and then like
Right.
other third party titles are in there. Not huge stuff, but like
And indies, like Tunic.
oh yeah, indies galore, man. Like that
Yeah.
store and all that stuff. Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I just hope that the tiers or whatever they decide to make this appealing to PlayStation fans is really well thought out, and that they, I'm really curious to see, as with this latest rumor, it had an emphasis of streaming games, and that's not what I want at all. Like, I would prefer to download my games. So if that is the case, that would be really disappointing. That's like a tally of one of the reasons why I wouldn't get this service or wouldn't subscribe to it. I would hope that they find some way to integrate Crunchyroll and Discord into this somehow. They got a lot of things that they can work with. So like I would love to see them utilize like all that stuff. To truly make it distinct and stand out from other subscription services. But yeah, I just really hope that the sort of tiers are really well thought out. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, I really don't have anything else to really add.
Yeah. If this is true and we'll get the details next week, as early as next week, then next podcast is going to be an interesting conversation.
truly.
To be honest, this is like my least favorite thing to talk about. Like I really don't. Like I don't know. Like obviously we have to wait and see like what the exact details are. There may be something
Buckle
in
up,
there.
boy.
There may be something in there that makes me go like, ooh, like I have to subscribe to that. But like,
Yeah,
but
and that's the idea, right? That's the hope that. But we're here like Hawkeye, don't give me hope because
Right.
I mean we don't really know what it's going to be.
but
I'm
like
just thinking free. I'm just thinking the service offers free PS4 to PS5 upgrades, and that'd be so vile.
Yo,
be
director's
funny.
cuts for all the games.
that would be
That'd
funny.
That
But
would be so vile, dude.
Pain.
But yeah, like I
Agony
don't.
even.
But like I don't have like I get PlayStation Plus like maybe 2 times 3 times a year. So like I don't know. Like it's gonna be interesting.
I get
to
the
see.
3 month or like a discount every like so often, but like it's because I do enjoy some of the free games that they do give because they give some fantastic free games, but and some of the discounts are like worth it for me for the games that I buy. But
Hey man,
Yeah.
this month was Ghost Runner. That's a fucking fantastic game right there.
yeah, I downloaded it. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah, I played it.
Yeah, I mean, I just subbed to yesterday just for Elden Ring.
Oh yeah,
multiplayer. I did because of the I had to do the exploit for the level up, which is why the only reason why I had to do PvP. I did mob
We-
some people, which is actually pretty fun. But
oh yeah, we need to go 1-on-1 then.
sweet, yeah, you're Dunzo. And then which actually is good because now I can actually go back to Hitman 2. So
Ooh.
and do the DLCs for that. So that's so another big reason why I was going to sub to PS Plus. But
Yeah,
Very nice,
cool.
very nice.
So yeah, that is Spartacus. I guess we will perhaps learn more next week. I guess aside from topics, Machi, you want to close out with your Kingdom Hearts talk while I go grab my pillow and fall, go back.
to be honest, I kind of thought you already got your blanket and pillow already with the way you're talking.
Hey man,
Hey, yo.
I was getting prepared for the Kingdom Hearts talk, man. I knew it was coming, man.
I would hate for you to be the MC at my party, man. That would suck.
Honestly,
yo.
man. When Walt brought up Kingdom Hearts 3 earlier, man, I was yawning, man.
Oh, that's wild. That's wild considering that considering you bought a game called Dreams, so that's
Hey yo,
I can see why you're so sleepy now.
Hey man, and I promptly returned it, man. So I don't know.
He
don't know
said
what-
I properly returned it.
I don't know what the issue is, man. So
Yes,
no-
man, you said it like you rented at a library.
Yep, just like I was at the library, man, just returning a book, man.
yeah, probably with Spartacus we'll be able to try all these games that Jay has tried last year, like all the way from Dreams to Dragon's Dogma to PlayStation All Stars, man.
Hey man, those were some good games, man. I don't know what you're saying.
Hey man, man, you're a gem hunter.
Hey man, I do not regret my time with Destruction All Stars, man. I would put another 19 hours into that game.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Kingdom Hearts, man, you kidding me? Are you kidding
Kingdom
me?
Hearts. Have you
Yeah,
ever tried
that's
Kingdom Hearts?
cap.
I would,
That's mad
I would
cap,
rather,
yeah.
I would
That's
listen.
so cap.
Well, listen to this. I would rather stay on an
Yeah.
island, and the one game I would play for the rest of my life, I would rather have Destruction All Stars there than play Kingdom Hearts.
For the rest of your life.
That's so
Yes, sir.
cap, man. That's so cap.
Yes, sir.
Bro, nah.
That's a mad
Yes,
cap.
sir.
And that's how I know. That's how I know Jay's a low key hater, and like he's a melancholic bastard because he'd rather play Destruction all ass rather than a good Kingdom Hearts.
All ass. I love it.
Hear ye. Listen to what I just said. Listen to what I just said, man. No cap.
No cap.
Hey man, all good fun. You all good fun. You hate what you hate, you like what you like, but you mostly hate because you a hater. But it's okay.
But my
Listen,
question is, so have you ever played any Kingdom Hearts game?
maybe when I was like 10.
Damn.
And
Okay.
I rented it from like Blockbuster. I think like Kingdom Hearts 2 maybe. But I saw Mickey Mouse, running around, and going, look,
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
what you
it's
did?
doing that, and I returned it, and I think I went back to like Sly Cooper or something.
Then you got real far because you don't see Mickey Mouse until like pretty like late on in the first Kingdom Hearts.
I don't
It's
know.
like the
I
second half of the damn game.
don't know. I just said the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah?
I can't remember where I got to be honest.
I swear, man, if you got like a power-proof fruit under your mattress or something, I find out. Yeah, you should-
I can guarantee that's not the case. I can promise you that.
Hilarious.
I can promise you
hey, it's
that.
okay, man. It's you can confess any kind of secret
Listen,
love you got
this
here.
is the most I've talked about Kingdom Hearts in my
In your life.
in my 25 years of life. So you've already succeeded in that, man. So go on, go ahead, man. You won. Go ahead, take your victory lap, man.
Yes. Yeah, man. So, I mean, it was kind of light on topics this week, but I did want to bring up the Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary that's happening on Monday. So, fellas, this series is turning 20 years old on March 28th. This is when the first game was released in Japan. And it was actually a moment of perspective here, just realizing that one of my favorite series in video game history is turning 20 years old. Like, I feel damn old, man. Like, it's absolutely insane. But I kind of wanted to bring it to the panel, minus Soul. On kind of like your, at least your sort of memories or any kind of experience, like with the series. And of course, I'll kick it off here as the King of Kingdom Hearts. I'll kick it off. Basically, I said it before how like this series was like absolutely like a childhood dream come true. Because I grew up with Disney. I grew up with a sister who loved musicals and loved Disney movies. So for me to kind of have an outlet where like I loved these Disney characters growing up, and so like the one childhood dream I had ever since I was like 4 years old and going to Disney World for the first time was like having my own adventure with Disney characters. Like, of course, my young imagination, young mind, I was like, yeah, this would be awesome. So the fact that, I got a game out of that and I saw it on TV the first time, I was just absolutely flipping out. I was like, that's me. Like, I get to finally go on an adventure with like my favorite Disney characters. It was a childhood dream come true. So that's one of the reasons why it was like super near and dear to my heart for a long time. It still is. It's because from there and going into Kingdom Hearts 2 and stuff like that, man, like I made so many friends because of the series. whether it's in school or even online. Like one of my first podcasts I ever done for YouTube was actually a Kingdom Hearts podcast, and that's how I made a couple of really close friends from that. Even one of them that's coming to my wedding this year. So and even like from there, like it brought family closer to me as well because of the fact that one of my cousins, me and him are just absolute diehard Kingdom Hearts fans. So, and we would talk about it consistently. It's like whether it comes to like the lore or how each game progresses and stuff like that. So like it absolutely brought us closer together. So like Kingdom Hearts had this really big point in my life where again, like the concept is absolutely ridiculous. I understand that it's Disney mixed with like RPG mechanics, and it can be really goofy and cringy. But the thing is, like the one thing that it underlies so much and so well is the idea of just togetherness and being kind to one another, and just having like a really good wholesome message about it that I carry with me for such a long time. If you meet anybody outside this podcast that talks to me and my family, stuff like that, the one thing that they'll say consistently about me is that they rarely see me mad, and they always see me as someone that's kind or like look or willing to help other people. And that's really because of Kingdom Hearts. It really embedded like this kind of character trait for me of just kindness is the answer to a lot of life's problems, and just going at a really big positive attitude. And I got that a lot from the main character Sora, just always being optimistic. And yeah, he can be super goofy and really kind of like a ditz sometimes, but like that wholesome nature of just always seeing the good in stuff and always seeing the good in people and situations is a very hard trait to refine and keep hold. But Kingdom Hearts absolutely just embedded that in me since I was really young, and I'm very fortunate for that because a lot of crazy things have happened since then. So having that kind of optimism is always worthwhile. But to even the point of connections too, when I started dating my fiance, and we are kind of just really getting to know like our hobbies, and the one thing we gravitated towards was video games because she grew up with brothers, and obviously I grew up with video games, and I'll always talk about Kingdom Hearts because it was just the one thing that I was really connected to. That definitely like kind of showcased like the kind of person I was, and I will never forget when she actually was like, "Yeah, I actually want to try and play it," and then we played Kingdom Hearts for the first time, and it's one of our most best memories with each other. I even have it on YouTube where I have my girlfriend plays Kingdom Hearts, blah blah blah, and we just had so many funny moments. It was just one of the best things that I ever done with this series. That's like it's really cool and stuff like that. So, but as far as like my feelings on the series now, it's a little more complicated. I would say it's just like I'm a little more not resentful, just more like I have more of like a negative kind of look on the series because of really what it's done and kind of like the memes that it has brought up. Like I understand Soul's point completely on like why it's like so ridiculous and why it can be just so turn off from some people because like of of how ridiculous it can be. But I guarantee you, man, like the Kingdom Hearts fan base was, and just the fans and the entire series in general was like way more laxed back then. Like obviously it was a little more ridiculous because of like the story points and kind of like the whole lore of everything that was going on, but it was way more refined in my opinion and way more easy, way more palatable, I will say, than where it is now. But it's just crazy to me that this series expanded so much, and in the past 20 years it just really just kind of had like this really big audience with it. I couldn't imagine like the amount of people that actually love this series as much as I do back in 2006 when Kingdom Hearts 2 was just about to come out. And for me it was just me and my group of friends and maybe just a couple of like internet YouTubers I'll follow or something like that. I mean, honestly, it's the kind of the scope and reach of this series is kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'll just stop rambling on now, and maybe Walt, if you have any implications, I know you played some of the games in this series, so just to kind of celebrate the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts, is there any like certain memory or maybe like I don't know, moment in time where you remember from the games or anything like that that you want to touch on?
Let's see. What should I
There's a lot. It's been 20 years, so
It's been 20 whole years. So the first,
My favorite memory, just really quickly, is seeing Mickey get choked. That's my that's the extent of what I have to add to this conversation.
You know what? It's a really good point because yeah, they haven't really done much to Mickey other than him going shirtless. So that's a good point.
What's that?
Now hold on.
What's
You know what?
happening?
Maybe I do need to play this game.
What's happening? Pause. So
I'm downloading
honestly,
my copy right
so
now, man.
so this game is something that it's like very hazy. Like I don't even know like how it like came into my life, like how I found out about it. Um, I remember that the first time I ever like wanted to try it was like on the PS3. I literally one day I just saw gameplay or like heard music from it and I was like, oh shit, I need to play this. And I
Yeah.
bought both final mixes on PS3. Played a little bit of the first one. Immediately after, I got it for. They came out with the PS4 versions, the new ones, and I was like, oh, okay, then I'll buy those. And I bought them again on PS4, and that's where I officially played Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance. I played a little bit on PS4 later on, and I played 368 days, or what was it, 498?
358. Yeah, 358.
358 days. Still one of the most wholesome experiences I've had with like a franchise. It was that entry.
Oh, 358? Really?
Yeah, like I got so invested in um Axel. What was the girl's name?
Shion?
Shion's
Yeah.
and the other good one was
Roxas.
Roxas. Oh my God, there's so many names. And Roxas, those three. I fell in love with like the relationship that they had and the so wholesome and how much Axel actually like was like the big brother of the two and the whole dynamic and everything. Um, Kingdom Hearts. So here's the thing. This is back when I really was starting to get into like completion of video games. And once I saw the criteria for like Kingdom Hearts 1, I was like, okay, this is not serious. I'm gonna complete. The grind is absurd. Uh, Especially in Kingdom Hearts 1. I remember there was a specific item you needed to grind in the level before you fought the Sephiroth like esque boss. Um, it was like a little room in like a darkness realm, and it like spawned these types of enemies that were just impossible to like kill. And
Yeah,
that was like
that's a difficult one.
that was a requirement for like the ultimate key. And I was like, you know what? I don't need the ultimate key. I'm good with the pirate one. I'm good with whatever one I had. After that, I really was invested, and I was like, I want to see this like amplified. I want to see this like in with better graphics. So I started Kingdom Hearts 2 with the final mix that I had purchased, and I remember I only played that for the whole week. I only played Kingdom Hearts 2, and I was so invested. It was like, it's a genuinely fun experience. I really enjoyed my time with that game. And then right after that, I was like, okay, Birth by Sleep, completely different, a bit older. Okay, let's try this one. And to this day, the story of Birth by Sleep is still one that I like usually remember more than I do Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, 'cause
Yeah, it's an incredible story.
there's something about that trio of characters that really stood out to me, and the fact that you had to play all three campaigns to actually get a feel of the entire story. I that really like I don't know. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It's kind of like Nier, where you have to play the game multiple times to actually get the scope of the full story. So it incentivizes replayability. So I really enjoyed that. And it was short and sweet, and it was a good game. I fell in love with Aqua and like the whole cast. You get to meet Xehanort and everyone. Like it's interesting to see Xehanort in not like a horrible, just villainous way where he was just like a teacher or like a master, and then he's like, you know what? I was actually tricking y'all. I'm actually an asshole, and then he became the villain that he is. Which to that point, I played all that. Thoroughly enjoyed all of it. I didn't play the card game because fuck that.
Chain
And
of
I
Memories.
just, yeah, I didn't play Chain of Memories. I just saw YouTube gameplay of it. Um, After that, then I was like, oh, okay, Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm excited for it. It was announced. People were like, oh my god, we've waited so long. I'm like, all right, it's looking fun. It's looking goofy as hell. Oh my god, Toy Story, Monsters Inc. Like some of my favorite Pixar movies that like ever in my life. Like I adore Toy Story. I adore Monsters Inc. Did not disappoint with those worlds. In terms of the
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts story, that's where it's like okay, and the mechanics, like the story, there was a nice wrap up. Like I think at the end there was a lot of rewarding moments. Like
I
and
agree. Yeah.
I get goosebumps though when Roxas takes off his coat and he looks at Axel and Shield and I'm like, holy shit! I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
waiting.
those are absolutely one of like the top Kingdom Hearts moments for sure. Yeah,
Oh, dude, it's such a beautiful moment and like the absolute absurd final fight against Xehanort. You know, like you going through dimensions and everything. And I'm like, oh my, what is happening? What is this fight?
yeah, they went super. Let's see, that's I'm glad you brought that because that's the one thing about Kingdom Hearts that has been consistently great has been the boss fights.
Truly, like, and that's something that, like, in every world, in every single world, the boss fights have always been exceptional because they've been so unique and like their own thing.
Yeah,
And I really enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 3 for that aspect. And like the set pieces, like I really enjoyed the world. It's a beautiful game. It's the gameplay that really didn't captivate me as much like Kingdom Hearts 2 did, or even Birth by Sleep, because Kingdom Hearts 3 was very much a another ride. What was that they called the
the
attractions?
flow attractions. Yeah,
Yeah, that got very boring very fast.
yeah,
Um, but aside from that, like the story, it felt super rewarding. Kyrie still didn't shine.
I
They
know.
still
I'm sad about that.
they had her training the whole game, and she was like, "I'm not doing anything."
Yeah, I know. That's the one. Like I have so many contentions with Kingdom Hearts 3. It's not even funny. To the point where like after I finished the game, I was like, I could have really stopped at 2 and be really happy. Like, and that, as like a big Kingdom Hearts fan, like that absolutely just kind of like devastated me. Where
Mm,
Final Fantasy 15 just wasn't really the expectations I was hoping to live up to, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 just didn't do that either. Which is why like I put so much stock into Final Fantasy 7 Remake because that was a game I was really looking forward to, was looking really good up to release, and it absolutely hit on all cylinders, surprisingly. But when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3,
right.
rather, yeah, it's just like, yeah, it was absolutely just a point of contention. Where I was just like, damn, man, like, I wish I could say more better things about it because I totally agree with you. Where like, yeah, I love the worlds and the set pieces of that game, but when it came to the actual story and the pacing, it just felt so otherworldly from what Kingdom Hearts 2 offered. Even what Birth by Sleep offered, I was just like, what happened?
Literally.
Yeah. So, but I mean, regardless, like it's the thing about that too is like even if I am disappointed with Kingdom Hearts 3 and like where some of the direction that the story is going in or has been going because of the mobile game and stuff like that, it
Hmm.
absolutely just doesn't trump like the experience that I had that I talked about before with the series. Like
Definitely.
it's like what Kingdom Hearts 2 did for me as like a gamer, like that was a game that absolutely made me a gamer. Or a lot of people kind of have like their reflection and moments of like this is the game that like made me realize that games are more than just games, right? Some
Mm.
people say that with Metal Gear Solid One. Some people say that with God of War or whatever the case may be. Mine was Kingdom Hearts 2, 100%. Where I was playing a game that was super fun. I had characters I was attached to because of the Disney stuff, but then the second half of that game where it opens up, where there's this really crazy conundrum where like Ansem had an apprentice, and his name was Xehanort, but it turns out like he's actually the leader of this crazy organization that wants to actually kind of not rekindle, but bring about Kingdom Hearts so that they can become actual real people again. Like it brought up a whole bunch of different intricate stuff that I wasn't expecting to be so invested in. And on top of that,
Mm.
have other people be as invested as I was when I went to school, and I'll be like, "Yeah, dude, you talk about? Did you see what Xehanort did this time? Did you see what Demix did? Like what his crazy water attacks? Like all this stuff. I can go back to school and talk about it with friends and stuff like that, and get really nerdy about it. that was just such a treat, and that was the first time I've ever done that with a video game, you know? Like,
No.
I didn't do that with, you know, Spyro or Crash, and I love those games. I love Crash Bandicoot, I love Spyro, I love Sly Cooper. Never did that. Never had the experience of going back to school to talking about what happened in this game's story and like what ability to equip and to make this boss fight easier or anything like that. Like, really, really fun stuff and cool stuff, I might add. But to add to that, I think Kingdom Hearts 2, I was just so in love with that game that I actually ended up importing the Japanese version and configuring my PS2 to actually play it. And I played maybe like a good 10 hours of it before I actually learned how to download the English patch onto the disc. So I still have it. I have the notebook. I have the guidebook for Kingdom Hearts 2, and I have the notebook in it with just translations that I wrote down. I wrote Japanese characters, translated into English with Google, and just figure out what ability to equip and when I was going to get it and stuff like that. Because I was so hell bent on playing Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix and doing all those boss fights. Yeah, I was so into it.
Nice, man.
Yeah, so it's I mean it's always a fun trip down memory lane just thinking about Kingdom Hearts and like where it's gone, and to kind of like celebrate it again. I'm gonna actually be playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 on a PS2. I still have the original copies of the game. I still have my old PS2 lying around, so I'm just gonna boot those up and play them as originally as I did back then because I think that'll just be a nice recall. And it's been a while since I actually played like those versions of those games anyway. I've been mostly playing the Final Mix version, so it'd be kind of fun to kind of see the differences over the years and stuff like that. So, but yeah,
Absolutely.
man.
Has Square said how they plan to celebrate?
No, they have like a live stream being planned in the beginning of April, so that's kind of like the one celebration event that people are really looking forward to, whether it's like a new game announcement or stuff like that.
Okay.
But
They definitely have a new Kingdom Hearts, I think, because they teased something at the end of 3, right?
oh yeah, I mean they teased something at the end of Melody of Memory, which is the rhythm game that came out about 2 years ago. So they teased something at the end of that, and there's been a lot of kind of theories and speculations around that one world inside Toy Story, Walt, where I think it's what is it, Verum Rex?
Yeah, the one that very much looked like Final Fantasy versus the previously named FF15 placeholder name that they had, where before Luna Freya was a thing, where they had Stella. It reminded me of that trailer back when it released.
Yeah, that's so. The theories around that is that's where the series is gonna be headed in. It's gonna be more of kind of like a realistic setting based on more like a Shibuya like setting. So people were thinking the world ends with you, but
Right.
it seems to be a completely different universe and something entirely original to Kingdom Hearts. I think one of the ending boss fights for the Remind DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3 was I forgot his name, but he's basically the same guy you see in the trailer for VM Rex, the silver-haired, short-haired guy. He's a boss fight, so people are thinking that he's gonna have a big influence in the next game. So it's gonna be interesting to see where they go from there.
Yeah.
Because what I really wanted from Kingdom Hearts 3 that really didn't deliver, but something that Final Fantasy 14 did was like have a really good ending chapter to a saga. And then when you start in the next patch for 14, you're doing a whole refresh. With Kingdom Hearts 3, it had like those really climactic moments that you talked about, Walt. But the thing is, like, it had for the more the beginning part of the game, like at least 3/4 of the way into the game before like the big fight, it was a lot of peppering in nuggets of exposition and story that was not relevant to what was really going on. It felt like either with the whole Maleficent and Pete and finding like the black box and stuff like that, like that had no resolution.
I did not know where that was going. I was like,
exactly.
What's going on?
Yeah, like, and Kingdom Hearts 3 has so many moments of that where like it was more teasing to future stuff and future answers that I'm like, this is supposed to be a finale. What's going on? So like that's why I was getting so frustrated with it. And then with Kingdom Hearts 3, I guess like the way it ended, it was just so unsatisfactory in my opinion. But regardless, the next entry, it feels like what they're doing now is like a total refresh, which is something like I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do. So
Right.
whether it's gonna have Disney Worlds or not, we'll see. But either way, I'm gonna keep my eye on it, regardless of my feeling on Kingdom Hearts 3 and this whole
Which, to that
series right
point,
now. But
like, two things. One, did the DLC resolve anything with like Sora and Kairi, or are they still like like separated?
no, it's I mean, they're still separated, yes, but what Remind did was let's just say like after I beat Remind, I looked at Kingdom Hearts 3 a lot more favorably. Especially the
Mm.
ending. Like it like there's a bunch of missing pieces in that ending sequence. That to the point I was just really not just confused because of story or lore reasons, but more because I was just like, what? Like I was like, what's wait, well, hold on. How did we get to this point? What happened? Like and all that stuff. And Remind absolutely answers those questions. And I think I pointed this out too when someone tweeted out that Remind or Kingdom Hearts Remind was better than Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and I was like, absolutely not, because Remind answers all those questions and it makes a good game better. But Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix made a great game even more epic because of all the boss fights and all the extra scenes. Remind absolutely just fixes all those issues that Kingdom Hearts 3 initially had. If that answers your question.
Okay. So there's more of a closure sensation than.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, after Remind, I
Okay.
was way more happy with like where those two ended up, where Sora and Kairi ended up, and how like we got to the conclusion. Like it made a lot more sense, it was a lot more satisfactory, in my
And do
opinion.
you get to use Kyrie in the DLC or something?
Yes, you do. Yeah,
Okay.
there's one
Thank God.
specific moment yeah, that's why Remind did a really good job with having that ending be so good now. Like it's more about bittersweet ending than it was just a confusing um sad
Depressing mess.
ending. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was I
it
was
made it
very
more bitter, it
depressed.
made it more bittersweet.
I was when I see she's next to him and then he just disappeared. I'm like, no, don't do that to me. Don't do that to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, when
Don't.
that happened I was like, are you wait, what?
They were a whole game. They were trying to be together, and now you're telling me that they're not. Like,
Yeah, that was the point I was making too, where I was like, I can stop at Kingdom Hearts 2 and be completely okay. Because
right.
Kingdom Hearts 2 was the quintessential perfect ending where like in Kingdom Hearts 1 they established they want to get off the island and they um and then once they do they have their adventures, they realize it's something completely out of their realm, and the one thing that they want to do they can't at that point because they have to do their journey, they have to figure out these problems and help solve them because that's the kind of people they are. But their one
Hmm.
goal at the end is to reunite with each other and go back to the islands, go back home, right? They had their adventure, they're done. And in Kingdom Hearts 2, they actually got that. They all came
Mm.
back home. They're all satisfied. They're all happy. And then they get the message in the bottle from Mickey saying like, "Hey, there's other people like you that need our help." And then that's where you get burnt by
Mm.
sleep and stuff like that. But regardless, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 has absolutely like one of the most perfect endings for me. Where like they all came home. So
Right. And to that point, like I to this day, like I remember always like endings that left an impact on me. And Kingdom Hearts 2 specifically, as soon as Sanctuary starts hitting and that final scene like starts rolling, like that's
mhm.
still like I get goosebumps and I like still get teary eyed when I watch that. Like it's so that's a song that still it is one of the greatest like implementations into like a video game and the themes of the video game and the way that it plays out. It's so beautiful. It's absolutely
Yeah,
beautiful.
100%. Yeah, it's that whole Sora looking up at Carrie saying we're back, and then she's responding to him, "You're home." Yeah, it hits
Oh
home for me
man,
too.
but where he's like, I don't know if it's the same ending. I might confuse it with the first one, but I know that they're walking like from the beach and they're like there finally they're back and she's like crying and like yeah she tells him like you're home and it starts hitting. Oh man, so good. It's so good.
Yeah, man, it's saying a lot of the stuff hits home in that series, and obviously out of context things will look really ridiculous, right? Because I get it, I completely get
No,
I mean,
it.
it
that's
is.
I
No,
mean
I'm
that's
so
that's
it's
with anything though. if you're
Yeah.
experiencing anything out of context. So that's not that bad.
Yeah, try watching an episode of an anime midway through. Like, try watching One Piece episode like 700 without like context. You're gonna think this is fucking circus. Like it's
Yeah.
it's absurd. So it's worth anything.
Yeah, no, it's true. But yeah, man. So I just wanted to touch on that because obviously this is the one series and the one set of games that just made me who I am and made me a gamer. So I wanted to give it a spotlight, man. It's been too long since I had actually talked to someone about Kingdom Hearts like this. So it's fun stuff, and I'm looking forward to the 20th anniversary. So thank you, Soul, for indulging me.
No, it's fine, man.
Yeah.
This is your podcast as much as this is mine, man. So you guys can talk whatever you want, man.
Yeah, man. And we can say, Kingdom Hearts, we don't endorse it. It's a bad game, and don't don't play it, y'all.
Yes, sir. Back to our regular scheduled program. But no. In a serious note, that's awesome. That's a franchise that's sort of like, I mean, similar to like how I feel about like The Witcher, like Mass Effect. A franchise can inspire that much love for you, or has instilled like good qualities in you, like how you were talking about just kindness in general. Like I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
man. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it drives home. It drives home a lot of really personal traits. So so much appreciated, guys.
Now you know how I feel when I see the color green in a Persona anniversary, because I'm like, I'm just fucking.
Now we're full circle.
Hey man, now here's the thing: when Persona does their like announcements, like Macho So and we ain't gonna shut up. We ain't gonna shut up.
Hey man, I'll be right there with you. I'm done with the I'm over my Atlas burnout, so
Yeah.
I'll be there right there with you, 100%.
Did Aegis Rim like bring you back?
100%, yeah. I was just so burnt out from Persona 5 Royale after that, and but other than that,
There you go.
Yeah,
Full circle, baby.
was really good. Yeah, so I'm excited for Persona 6. We'll see where that comes up, but
Yes, sir.
if the color green's not in there, I'm still roasting your ass.
If they don't make the theme a earthy green with a nice chai latte, I'm out.
Hey, well, what's his name? Shoji Meguro might not be a composer because he left P Studio a while back.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
So that sucks if that is the case.
Now here's the thing. I think it's Persona 2. I think Innocent Sin. I might be completely talking about my ass, but I know that one of the Personas, he was not the lead composer. It was someone else.
Yeah, I don't think he was for like the first two.
Yeah, and they still hold up. I gotta say, like I mentioned a lot of podcasts before. I was playing Persona 1, and the soundtrack slaps. Like it really fits with the theme and whatnot. So honestly, man, as long as it fits the thing, that's my big thing. Like Persona 5 worked, and Persona 4 and 3 worked because it's cohesive and it fits with each other. So
this made me remember, since we were talking about like the color scheme and all that, that I wrote an essay. I forget what year, but it was probably like my first year in college. I wrote an essay about like I don't think it was exactly about like the colors, but it was like, here's the themes of Persona 3, 4, and 5, and how the colors mirror the themes that each game is trying to tackle. And just thinking about that now, I'm like, God damn, I really made my professor like have to sit and read an essay about this shit. Like, God damn, dude, I was the worst kind of weeb back then.
The worst kind of weeb.
Yeah, damn, man. I'd even do that with Kingdom Hearts for my assignments.
Hey,
bro. The most, man, I haven't done anything. I mean, I've done like with video game. Like I once did we were doing a dissecting of a scene for English. One of the English, I think it was English 2 or something. And it was like we're touching on like Hamlet and whatever, and we were basically dissecting scenes from media that explored any type of like emotion or themes. And I specifically remember the scene that I chose to dissect was when Joel and Ellie in the first Last of Us, when she runs to the cabin and she's in the room, and she like finds out that the only reason, supposedly for her, the reason why Joel is taking care of her is because it's like a replacement for his daughter. And like she's like, everyone's like left me, everyone except for you. And he's like, he explains his situation, and it's like, I've never gone out of my way to pick like an anime like that. That's interesting. I've thought about it. Like I've almost been that weeb. So like I've almost been to like the point where I almost like made an essay where like I would talk about the themes behind Naruto characters, and like how Sakura is like the perseverance of the group, or like whatever. And like,
damn, I never ever did that in school, man.
I never got to do it, but it definitely went through my mind.
That was for me and my group of friends and my cousins on the school bus ride, man, where we're just get into the weeds about Kingdom Hearts and talking about all the story intricacies and the boss fights and stuff like that.
Honestly, I'm going back to school next month, and it's kind of like a class that I'm gonna be making a lot of presentations on, and I'm already thinking about talking about fucking video games and anime and shit like that.
Hell yeah, man!
Hey, man.
That's where inspiration. That's where inspiration comes from. That's where the inspiration comes from, man.
That's what's up, man. Right now, I'm developing a research proposal for my research class in psychology, and my thesis is how Dungeons and Dragons can provide mental benefits in like the pandemic, like with social anxiety and whatnot. So like, I mean, go for it. Like the inspiration is like everywhere for it.
Yeah, that's why I was making it a point before where like Kingdom Hearts absolutely like embedded like those different traits of optimism and kindness and friendship and keeping close with people, like all that kind of stuff. Like that was a bedrock on top of like my family as well. But like that series absolutely just embedded that stuff into me, where like I carry that day in and day out. It's absolutely incredible what kind of video games can kind of do for you, especially at a young age, and even now we're like they're way more sophisticated. So I think you have much richer content to even go into.
Oh, absolutely!
Than anything we had back then.
You're gonna I wish I was your professor that you're gonna have, because like you're gonna have like that's gonna be a fascinating class to sit through if you're gonna like do presentations and stuff. So like,
yeah, shout out to the professor actually endorsed that too. Like I had a couple of professors like even no matter what you would hand in, they will just absolutely embrace it because 100%.
Yeah, that was definitely the kind of professor that I had. He was
hell yeah, man. Yeah. I had a professor like that in Seminole State, where Mendoza was his last name, and he was the English professor that I did the Last of Us scene for, and he was the kind of professor where every single comparison, every single like he would compare in order for us to understand like Macbeth and Hamlet, classic Shakespeare. He would compare it to like modern comics. So he would always bring up Superman and Batman and like.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Batman is literally Hamlet. So
legit, he would like go into depth and like comparing like Bruce Wayne and everyone. Like it was a fascinating, and he would show up in his slippers with like his jammies, and he would just sit down at his desk and like, all right, yo, let's talk about comics. This is your essay. You have to talk to me about why like the Dark Knight did this in this comic. And it's like, oh snap, this is the kind of class that you want to be in. Oh man, one of the best classes I've had.
Yeah. Yeah, so man, that was quite a tangent. That we went on, but yeah, it was fun. So before we get out of here, Macho.
So completely ignoring it.
Yeah, I'm just not even gonna give it the time of day, to be honest. But yeah, before we get out of here, Macho, I wanted to give a little shout out and pour one out for the boys over at Press Start Podcast.
Oh yeah,
they announced that they're ending the show, man. Which I know you watch them. I watch them as well. It made me really sad to hear, man. So yeah, just wanted to. I don't know if you have any thoughts, but yeah, I just wanted to say that they were a staple of entertainment each and every week for me personally, and yeah, they're definitely gonna be missed.
Yeah, 100%. Oh man, I can't remember when I started watching them because it was soon. Very, I think, actually, I do remember more or less. It's when Air Cuts for the Win was still on the panel before she exited out.
Hmm.
But regardless, yeah, I mean, I've been watching that podcast for quite a while, so to kind of see that message on Twitter from Kofi saying that they were gonna put a pin in it was it was definitely sad.
And it's
Um,
permanent.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course, they said that they'll have like the reunions every now and then, but it's officially like done. So it's kind of crazy to see that. I kind of agree with BG where I kind of wish that it was more just like a small retirement than it was like a full on stop. But stuff happens in life, and you gotta just kind of ride with that wind.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Nah.
all so whatever the situation is going on, I hope it's healthy and it's happiness rather than just because of family issues or anything like that. So but
100%.
regardless, they provided entertainment every week, from all sights and sounds. I mean, everyone on that panel was super funny and wild, and I do not endorse Alex's review for Final Fantasy VII Remake or his
Oh
opinions.
yeah.
He's an old head, but that just absolutely embodies the definition of an old gamer. But regardless, all very entertaining stuff, and you can't help but have a lot of respect for those guys because they hustle um,
Yeah.
Well,
and
but that's what
it's
that's
gonna be really sad to see them not be in a panel for a podcast every week now.
that's what made them, so good was like yes, I know Alex is controversial.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, Jack is also pretty controversial, but that's what made them interesting is that they all had like differing opinions. They didn't always agree with each other. That's where
Yeah.
a lot of the fights came in, but that's what made them entertaining is that there was always at least someone that you could agree with on
Yeah.
there.
When it's all samey, it can get boring. That's why here, like, I try to be honest and not just like,
Oh,
no,
you
no,
say
yeah, you're right,
you
Macho.
say you're saying me and Macho aren't honest, man?
Y'all are honest, but that's what makes it entertaining, boy.
No, man,
Like,
that's why like I don't take it personal if Soul like completely shits on Kingdom Hearts. Like, you know what I mean?
It's just
Yeah.
jokes. It's just jokes at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just jokes. He's a melancholic bastard, but it's just jokes, man.
and that's like why Soul and I don't get like heated
know.
when you like say that the characters don't give you the chance to be invested in Last of Us 2. Like we all have different.
I know Macho was literally the embodiment of that meme of like the crying face, but they're wearing a mask that's like it's just like a smiley face.
100%, man. I was like, this man's ruining my whole life right now. It's crazy.
That's
but
crazy.
but nah, for real though. Yeah, we wish those boys the best, and yeah, they will be missed, man. They will be missed.
Yeah,
In light of
regardless,
that-
Jack Move Johnny is one of the funniest dudes I've ever seen on YouTube. Y'all haven't checked him out. Check out his YouTube video. He just got a new Jiggy Foods video up, and it's 100% hilarious, man. It's a great guy.
And to that point, so that's the end of a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, then in light of that, just that like balance the things, I want to celebrate the birth of a podcast in the last couple of weeks. If y'all mentioned it last week, I will catch it when I watch your episode this weekend. But the Kid and Krista podcast, by the host of the Nintendo Minute segment on the Nintendo channel on YouTube. They did Nintendo Minute for a good amount of years, and essentially, I believe the office that they worked at in California was closing or was moving back to the original headquarters, and they quite frankly couldn't make the move. So they decided to leave the company, and now they have their own podcast, the Kid and Krista podcast on YouTube, and they basically are Nintendo centric, but they very much now have the freedom to talk about their takes on other franchises and video games, and quite frankly talk about Nintendo a bit more. And the reality of working at Nintendo and how they work, like manage releases and whatnot. Interesting podcast. They're very outgoing, very honest and entertaining people. Great chemistry between the two, and quite frankly, we celebrate the birth of that podcast. It's really entertaining. If y'all want to hear it too non-biased, honestly, like there's no, it doesn't sound like a fanboy podcast. It very much sounds like people talking about real things, Nintendo and non-Nintendo. It's interesting seeing two figures that you've seen for so long just talk purely Nintendo and not in a negative way, finally saying like, you know what? I think the Pokemon games are pretty boring, or like something like that, or like talk about how Horizon is like Game of the Year contender. And you're like, well, I've never heard the words Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West out of your mouth. So it's like it's interesting to see a different perspective out of them. So if y'all are interested, give it a shot.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I've heard of them, or I've seen them pop up on YouTube every now and then.
Very feel good podcast, and that's all. That's what we strive to be here. Feel good, sometimes clown infested podcast.
I'll check out that podcast though, Walt. Can you link me that after?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Cool.
But yeah, that is going to do it for the podcast. I want to thank everyone for listening this week. We have, if you want to follow us and keep up with, our thoughts on Twitter and whatnot, we have each of our handles in the description below. And without further ado, we're going to get started with these outros. Macho, you want to kick things off?
Sure thing, buddy. Today, today's going to be the chill day. This weekend's going to be chill. Because we got a couple things coming up in April. I got the nephew coming down soon, so I'm very excited for that. But before all that happens, it's going to be straight up Elden Ring and Triangle Strategy. And the funny thing is, fellas, that the next couple months, for myself at least, is pretty dry. So I want to see if I can get a couple of games done and over with that I had in the backlog before DNF Duel at the end of June. But the one thing I am looking forward to, though, that's actually next Monday, is the Kaito Files, which is from Lost Judgment. So it's the expansion to Lost Judgment from last year, which was one of my favorite games. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with that, what kind of new stances and abilities. You guys haven't checked out the trailer, definitely go check it out. It looks really funny and looks really cool, like a nice perspective on a side character in Lost Judgment. So looking forward to that and kind of going back to that game, doing all the side stories. So fun stuff ahead. I'm really excited. Gaming is in a really great place right now, so good stuff.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Walt, what about you, man?
It's gonna be a chill weekend as well. I'm interested in tackling some Elden Ring eventually, Masha, if he allows me to join his world and annihilate some more tarnished foes.
No. I'm just kidding. I'll hit you up when I'm on it.
I'm gonna annihilate the hell out of you when you're not in this podcast. Oh man, it smells like smoke in the horizon. I don't know. But man, I'm gonna be dipping more into the Elden Ring, Tiny Tina's. That's gonna be probably every day, just a little bit every day, because I'm really enjoying what I did last night. Aside from that, man, two big things are happening in the anime/manga world. So one in the manga, One Piece is going crazy right now. So I'm gonna be reading more into the manga. I need to catch up. I'm still in chapter 695. I still have 600 more chapters to read
Jesus
through.
Christ,
so,
man, you're far behind.
Yeah, man, but I'm catching. I'm caught up with the current events. So things are going insane, and we are reaching the finale of the masterpiece, the absolute behemoth that is Attack on Titan. Finally, the anime is coming to a close next week. Tomorrow's episode was delayed until next week, and I don't know what they're gonna do, if it's gonna be a 2-hour episode, or if they're gonna do this episode and then a movie or something.
They're definitely doing a movie.
Dude, they left off where they're after the whole scouts thing, and there's a lot that needs to. There's 10 chapters to cover, right, Soul?
Yeah,
there's so much they need to do.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do a movie.
And if they do a movie, y'all, this movie is like hands down gonna surpass Mugen Train and Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, which right now Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, I believe, already surpassed Demon Slayer's Mugen Train movie by a couple million.
My
Uh,
coworker was talking about that movie, and it looks really fun. I saw the intro to like the first season. I saw Fighting Panda, and I was like, I'm kind of in for that.
yes, dude, straight up, and that's like one of the best parts of the show, the panda. Like, it's a really great show. If y'all,
Yeah, when I saw him parkouring all across like the top of building tops, I'm like, I'm in. I kind of want to see that.
legit, like me watching that intro, it's like yeah, everyone's fighting, vaulting panda, and then everyone's fighting. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
It's great.
But yeah, that's a great anime. If y'all want a recommendation, another anime that's coming soon. I'll recommend two because now I want to like leave out with like some recommendations for something. Spy X Family or Spy Family, a great comedy slash action manga is going to be adapted into an anime by MAPPA, same animators behind Attack on
Jesus
Titan.
Christ, man! They
Nice.
got they got the
Yeah.
boys. They're slaving those boys, man.
They're doing
Jesus.
Chainsaw Man as well. MAPPA is doing Chainsaw Man. They're doing Hell's Paradise as well, which is
Jesus
another.
Christ.
They're cracking the whip on those boys, man. Like,
Bro,
Lord.
hey yo,
Like I was watching
What are they?
RDC?
Harley Quinn last night, the episode where the goddamn Riddler had people running on hamster wheels to power
yeah.
power his university.
Hey, yo.
That's what they got the boys over at Mappa doing right now, man.
Yo.
Running
That's a
on
great episode too.
goddamn hamster wheels.
No cap, like the amount of work that they're putting. And here's the thing, y'all. They're putting in quality work, so like support them, like watch it on Crunchy, don't pirate it if you can, like if you can afford it, like support these creators because like MAPPA is really putting in the work. They're doing a fantastic job. So like if y'all want good recommendations, just look at what MAPPA's doing and just watch that because everything is a fantastic. Dorohedoro, they've done so much. So
Yeah,
again,
straight up buy their stuff on Blu-ray too.
absolutely.
And also,
if you can't, like,
in all seriousness, like I was making jokes, but in all seriousness, like
Right.
there's terrible working conditions at anime studios like Mappa and
100%.
places like that. So yeah,
100%, and more often than not, which this is a topic we can leave for another podcast because it's a massive
yeah,
problem in the anime industry. But like, they even like stay in the business. They have like rooms with beds that they stay in the company so that they can keep working the next day. So
yeah,
like,
sleeping under their desk too and stuff like that. Yeah, it's
yeah, no,
horrible stuff.
we can get into that like in the future because we can make a whole podcast about that. But support your creators, buy the Blu-ray, subscribe to the streaming services, do all that, buy their merch. Yeah, support them. They really, if you want the quality that you've been having, it's because of us being able to support them. So keep supporting them, Aside from that, keep playing Elder Ring.
For me, just probably gonna get into a little bit more of Arkham City.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, really digging it. I didn't really get to talk about it much at the beginning, but this one point I wanted to make. I really love just Arkham. I mean, Macho, we talked about Arkham in the Batman movie, but also it's so cool to explore in an open world that isn't like I guess like as realistically like realized like Seattle from Infamous or New York in the Spider-Man games. Like Gotham just feels so distinct and just unique from the typical open world like real life city, and I really enjoy that.
Your mind's gonna be blown with Arkham Knight then.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited. But yeah, really that's about it since I finished Cyberpunk, and I'm definitely after putting like 80 hours into it, I'm definitely at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting sick of it. So yeah, I'm excited to move on to something else. So yeah, Arkham City, finished Cyberpunk and obviously Asylum, and aside from that, Matcha, I think I'm pretty much at the same place as you where really, I'm kind of like at a low period. Like after, I mean, that's why I'm kind of happy that I picked up or started the Arkham games because it feels like those are the games that's gonna carry me over until I don't know whatever else comes out.
What about Horizon Forbidden West, dude?
Oh yeah.
Hey yo,
Oh
hey
shit, I
The
yo,
most
forgot.
fraud PlayStation podcast ever,
Oh my
bro.
god,
That's
I
so
can't
he's a
believe
phony.
I can't believe I
He's a
forgot. Yeah,
Oh,
you
that
know,
makes me so sad.
I know, man.
When your legs don't work like they used to.
Actually, did you guys see that that Xbox director of communications what he said about it like in regards to Horizon?
No.
Oh my
What?
No,
God.
what,
This
what is it?
literally like I'm never gonna comment on anything you know, whatever. People even if it's like a shitty opinion or if it's a shitty take, you know,
Right.
I'm not gonna get involved or you know make a comment or anything like that. But essentially, this one guy, God, I forgot his name, but he's like semi kind of big in the industry or whatever. I think he's like a journalist or whatever. He made a simple tweet that really should not have blown up as much as it did, saying that like, man, I know it's Eldering this and Eldering that, but it really makes me
Oh yeah.
sad how how Horizon Forbidden West isn't getting talked about that much. Simple tweet, right?
Hmm.
Just shouldn't have ruffled any feathers at all, right? You know, just a man say he didn't you know disparage Elden Ring at all or anything like that, right? And that got like over 800 comments on it. People obviously shitting on Horizon and things like that. But the director, I forget his title, but he's like head of communications at Xbox, right? So this is a guy
Hmm.
who's like pretty high up. Quote tweeted it
Hmm.
and was let me get the tweet, man. He said something along the lines of you know what, Walt, I'm gonna need you to stall so I can get this tweet really quickly.
So
I got you because this is like a topic that's been kind of really irking me and
And
something I've
yes,
been
go
trying
for
to
it.
stay away
Yeah,
from.
and you're very passionate on the Twitters. I do see the passion, so go for it,
I
Pancho.
mean, what I'm trying to do instead of just like really trying to get into the weeds and waste my damn time talking to people and having arguments and convincing people that are not gonna be convinced. I just focus on the positivity. I just post up my screenshots saying I'm loving this game because you get what you put out of stuff,
yeah.
right? Or whatever the
Hmm.
case may be, you get out what you put into stuff. So I'm just trying to kind of have like a reverse psychology on that because honestly, the whole man, I don't see a lot of Horizon in my time. I'm more seeing Elden and like no shit, dude. Like Twitter algorithms. You likes tweets like they base it around what you do in your interactions. So
Yeah.
it's very skewed. It's a very stupid point to make.
But yeah, so anyway, this guy, the head of communications at Xbox said he quote tweeted that original tweet. It said, "LOL, imagine wishing a great game got less attention," which is literally not what this guy said at
Twisting
all.
Oh,
words.
that was him.
Yes,
Yeah, now I remember the tweet.
I don't know how you got that from what Jeff Kanata said, which is just an incredible you know spin or twisting job on this guy's
Yeah,
part. I don't know
twisting
how.
words.
I don't know how. Again, people made this point in the comments, but like for someone who is the head of communications to read a tweet and just create a create a story in his head is incredible.
I don't know. It doesn't really surprise me when a lot of those high executives, including the top dog, follow like really toxic people on Twitter. So
Yeah, it's
I'm not even surprised to be honest.
it was really weird, but look, man, like Horizon's gonna be fine. So like
Yeah,
I understand
it is
why
fine.
I understand why people are you know I don't like making that observation because like you know obviously Twitter is like but like I guess like what I'm trying to say is that like Twitter is like it's not representative of like the whole you know industry, right? Like oh, Call of Duty is a prime example of like or even like the Pokemon games when when Twitter was making its we gotta stand up and you know not buy the game and guess what Pokemon was still like I don't know like the best selling game of that month or whatever or Call of Duty everyone always shits on Call of Duty but it's always you know maybe aside from like Vanguard but it's usually always like the best selling game of the year right so like I don't
Yep,
know I guess I just to remind people that like Twitter is not the end all be all it's not representative of
it's not a
everything
statistic. It shouldn't be taken as a statistic measure.
Horizon's
Really,
still going to do well, but at the same time, I don't think it's the biggest issue in the world to acknowledge that definitely, yeah, Elden Ring came and definitely took away the mind share. But that doesn't make Horizon any less of a game. It doesn't mean that Horizon's gonna sell poorly. Horizon will be fine. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say on that matter because I thought that tweet was absolutely fucking wild because I feel like you just don't see that from executives, or at least you shouldn't see that from executives. But yeah, that really caught me by surprise when I saw that last night.
yeah. It has the same energy of when people what you had these developers or like members of certain companies saying like, oh, it seems like quest design is not as like praised or like as looked for or like quality design or whatever, and it was like a bunch of Ubisoft like developers like talking about it on the tweets.
I have
It
some
has that
thoughts
same
about that
energy.
too, but again, like heaven
Yeah,
forbid,
yeah.
heaven forbid you criticize one thing about Elden Ring and people are on you like white on rice, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, dude, I had a couple people on my ass because I said that I finished like I finished like two of the story bosses in that I wasn't really feeling I had the same impact as I have like with other bosses from other games.
Hmm.
And I even brought this up to Walt too. We had like a really good discussion about this. And he was like,
Hmm.
look, man, just maybe take it out from this angle. And I was like, okay, yeah, I will. Then one person was talking about like the bosses just weren't as impactful. This is from a person that beat the game. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way. Like I'm like 10 hours into it. I'm not really feeling like the same impact. And people were like, you're only 10 hours into the game, you nut job. Like that's only two
Yeah.
bosses. I'm like, you realize that like you can.
Unnecessary.
I'm like, you really could fight more than two bosses in the first 15 hours of this game, right?
I don't know.
I don't understand the hard on, man. Like, it's so annoying.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but like on the Halo Reddit or subreddit, there was this entire thread. This one of the devs, I forgot what they said exactly, but it was something like he was joking about Elden Ring, and it it ended up on the thread, and people were essentially started in the Halo community started like shitting on this developer from 343, and he was getting like a ton of harassment for it, and someone brought it up to his attention on Twitter, and basically said like, oh hey, someone made a Reddit post about your tweet or whatever, and the developer was like, oh okay, that's why I'm getting more harassment from usual, and I'm
Oh,
like that.
Jesus
I'm like that
Christ.
fucking sucks. But like, like really, like no, so no one can say anything. Like, no one is even allowed to joke about Elden Ring. Like it's insane. Like
No.
I
Yeah, no, you
promise,
can't.
you guys, like From Software does not need you to go at bat for them like this, right? They're gonna be okay if someone doesn't like their game or says, they disagree with certain design choices or whatever the case may be. Like I promise you, they are going to be okay. Like I don't know, it's so
Yeah.
weird, man.
Yeah.
People
It
really
was
have
wild.
this complex.
It was wild to me that I couldn't have an opinion on Elden Ring, even though I put like 10 to 15 hours into it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Hmm.
Like,
Um,
like that's absolutely insane. Like the culture on Elden Ring is kind of is super negative and something I'm trying to stay away from, which is why I'm trying to limit my time on Twitter too, because I want to enjoy this game and I want to think about like if I vent out like something on Elden Ring or something like that, people are gonna come at my head for it. Like I don't want that.
But I promise you, Macho, I promise you that those like the negative side on Twitter, those are not the Soulsborne fandom.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, no, I
like
know.
if you
Yeah.
hang out around Iron Pineapple and Vatividia, those people have like true Soulsborne like fans, similar to the vein of Final Fantasy 14, where you're welcome. Hey, summon us, we'll help
No,
you.
yeah,
You know?
that's why no, that's why you and the Ash and Luca, even Eric Cuts for the Win, like those are like the my Soulsborne people that I would go to if like for any advice or like opinions and stuff like that. Like
Hey,
those
yeah, man.
like those few people outshine the entire negativity of around having an opinion on Elden Ring stuff like that. So
yeah.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, I could definitely talk about that specifically for forever because yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on just Elden Ring. It's just not like what I've found is it's just not fun to talk about it with this shit, this stuff that's going on,
yeah,
and then just people jumping
Hmm.
down your throat whenever you have something to say about it. It's just like it makes me not want to talk about it, and that sucks. But yeah, anyway, that is I was not expecting that, but that is the podcast for this week, guys. Um, like I said earlier, guys, do not forget subscribe to the channel. Once we get over 80 or at 80, Walt, you guys heard it here first, man. Walt has confirmed that he will be dancing, live for our subscribers once we hit
Exactly.
that 80.
Yep.
So yeah, run those numbers up, please. So we can
You know you
all
want to see it too. Come on now.
exactly
Come on. I want to see it.
exactly. So
They're
yeah,
singing "Take on Me" at the same time, so just make sure y'all do it.
exactly. So without further ado, man, we'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.